Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Next Gen Racing TV, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on Kick. You're back on Thursday nights with the GT3 League in its 7th edition, and this will be round 6 at Bathurst, also referred to as the Mount Panorama Circuit. We're here down under in the New South Wales state in Australia for what is the start of the second half of this 10-round season here at Next Gen Racing, featuring GT3 cars. Tonight is a little bit different to what we've seen the last couple of weeks. We are on the endurance format tonight. That means we have got one singular race, and that is the only session we have tonight, which starts on the hour, coming up in just under 15 minutes time. And we have 3 of these endurance rounds per season, and we'll show you what they are a little bit later on. But the format for these endurance rounds, it's a 2-hour endurance where drivers will need to put their strategies to the test, and especially that and their driving skills to the test on this notoriously difficult circuit that is Bathurst Mount Panorama. We're about 200 kilometres west of Sydney, just beyond the Blue Mountains, and we're about 250 kilometres north of the capital of Canberra. And it's it's probably Australia's most favourite circuit is Bathurst. And feared among the tongues of a lot of racing drivers. It is notoriously difficult due to its sheer amount of corners, its length, its difficulty to overtake, its difficulty to navigate, and its elevation changes. There's an elevation change of 174 metres from the highest point on this mountainous track to the lowest point. So plenty of elevation changes, plenty of uphill and downhill moments. Not just physically, but for the drivers potentially in this session tonight, given the track that we are on today. Bathurst is one of those household names in motorsport. It hosts the 12 Hours in February, and it hosts the Bathurst 1000 in October. And I have fond memories of watching the late 90s Super Tourers take on Bathurst back then from the Bathurst 1000. Great memories. It's an iconic shape, is Bathurst. It's one of those tracks that you recognise on glance, similar to that of Spa, Monaco, Le Mans, Silverstone. It is up there, ironically, on the Mount Rushmore of circuits in motorsport worldwide. It's a 3.8 mile or 6.2 kilometre circuit, and officially there are 23 turns here at Bathurst, 14 to the left and 9 to the right. That's a little bit about the track we're racing tonight. What about the series itself? This is the GT3 Season 7 here at Next Gen Racing, hosted on Thursday nights. I'm Alex Everett, ladies and gentlemen, your commentator for tonight and for the season. And yeah, there are 2 different formats we race this season. Today we are on the endurance format, which is just a singular 2-hour endurance race. But normally we'll have 3 different sessions on a night, which will be a 20-minute qualifying, a 20-minute sprint race, and a 60-minute feature race. But tonight there is no qualifying. The grid is set by the championship standings of each category, but reversed. This is a fixed setup GT3 series, which means that the car that the drivers are given are the cars that the drivers must drive, and they must adapt to the setup that is on the cars. They are not allowed to change anything. The only thing they can change is brake bias. They're not allowed to change wing angle, tyre pressures, damper settings, ride height. They're not allowed to change anything like that, which, believe me, would be helpful tonight at Bathurst, but it's not quite going to happen. They can only adjust brake bias throughout the season. It's the only thing that can help them simulate any form of grip on the car. Let's have a big shout out to Next Gen Racing's partners, sponsors and affiliates that help run the show here at Next Gen Racing. They are PowerMaxed, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC, and Doble Motorcycles. These are the tracks we are racing this season. We started off months ago now. We started off round 1 at the Misano circuit in East Italy. Then we flew over the Atlantic for a double header in North America. That was at Watkins Glen in the States, and then up to Canada for the Montreal circuit for our first of 3 endurance rounds of the season. That's the last time we run an endurance format like what we're running tonight. That was at Montreal circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We have Snetterton 300 for round 4, and round 5 was 2 weeks ago, our last round of the championship, which was at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Today we're here at Bathurst Mount Panorama Circuit for the second of 3 2-hour endurances this season. But then next week we're back to the sprint and feature race format, and that'll be in southern Portugal, the Algarve International Circuit, also known as Portimao. We have got round 8 back in Britain for the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit for the 8th round of the championship, and then for the 9th round of the championship, which will be the last of the sprint and feature race format, the Canadian Tire Circuit, also known as Mosport. And then round 10, where else is it going to end? Of course it's going to end at Le Mans for the final round of the championship at the end of the month, this current month of May. And that will also be a 2-hour endurance to end it all, to end the season, to crown our champions. And with this being a GT3 League, it's the pinnacle of racing on iRacing, the most popular category on iRacing at the moment. And there are plenty of cars for our drivers to choose from. 10 in total, and there could be more in the future, who knows. But the latest of the introduction to the GT3 category is the Acura NSX, but there are also cars such as the Audi R8, the BMW M4, the Chevrolet Corvette Z06, the Ferrari 296, the Ford Mustang, the Lamborghini Huracan, the McLaren 720S, the Mercedes AMG, and the Porsche 911 992 Edition. And racing will start in about 8 minutes time. No qualifying session, we're going straight into the races, and that'll be at 8 o'clock UK time, which is on the hour coming up. And that, as I said, it's a 2-hour endurance with no qualifying to precede it. The grid for the race will be formed by the championship standings heading into this round, but each category will be grouped together and reversed from those championship standings. But the championship standings heading into tonight are as follows, and we'll start with the gold category. Ben McCluskey continues to lead the championship at the top by 36 points from Harry Langford, who now takes second in the championship with the absence of Lucas Seedorf at Zandvoort. But Harry Langford putting in some very strong performances, Zandvoort being one of his better of the season, puts himself in a strong second place. Only 20 points behind him in third place is Stefan Wessels, who had a very shaky start to the season, it's got to be said, but he really picked it up at Zandvoort last time out by getting the most points in the gold category. Lucas Seedorf missed out at Zandvoort last time. We will see if he's back tonight to claim back some points. We have got Jack Pittas in 5th place. Strong, consistent season from him. Gaz Williams, the admin of GT3, this GT3 League, is in 6th position in gold category, and he's followed by Quatermass driver Mike Barber. Ben Altria and Jesse Payne-Wilkins make it a full tilt, 8 and 9, and Jamie Dory will round off the top 10. It's worth noting that in 11th place, you can't see it on the screen there, but in 11th place is Corey Price, and he was the winner in the gold category of the last endurance round we had at Montreal. But over to the silver category now, and it's still a lead for Jeffrey Kruger. He extended his championship lead by 3 points last time out at Zandvoort by winning the sprint race and having a tremendous comeback in the feature race to get himself to 3rd place. And as a result, he now leads the championship by 7 points from rival Matthew Cheverton, and these two are having a great battle in this championship so far, and I'm sure it will continue on into tonight and for the rest of the season. 3rd place held by Matthew Addy, followed by Alan McCain, who's really come of form lately. He could have won the feature race at Zandvoort 2 weeks ago, but a small mistake from him spun him out, and it lost his lead to Matthew Cheverton, and he battled with Cheverton and Kruger, but finishing 2nd place in the end in that feature race at Zandvoort. But he is rewarded now with 4th place in the standings. Paul McDougall is 5th position, followed by Nigel Stock. Mark Baker in 7th position, followed by George Stone, Jason Raff, and Ian Manners rounding off the top 10. Bronze category, and it's a dominant lead for Adam Wilson-Weir. He is more than a round's worth of points clear of any of his rivals at the moment. He's 60 points clear of Wesley Lewin right now. It's been a very dominant season from Adam Wilson-Weir, and let's see if it continues on into tonight. He's looking very quick in practice right now, actually. Done plenty of practice. I believe he's done something like 300 laps of practicing for tonight, so he really wants that bronze title, and he's putting in the practice to try and get it. Wesley Lewin is in 2nd position, just 1 point between himself and Rob Savage in 3rd position, and only 5 points separate the 2, 3 and 4. 4th place being taken out by Stein Vatens, but then only 1 point down from that, and 1 place down from that is Gabriel Papaconstantino. So 2nd place is looking real close and exciting at the moment in the bronze category. Simon Hunt takes up 6th position, followed by John Berry, who has picked up a few wins this season, but a couple of bad results here and there, and he's on the catch-up in 7th place there. Last season's bronze category champion, 8th place, is Elwyn Sykes, followed by Andy Rooney in 9th and Michael Evangeli in 10th. We also have a teams championship here in the GT3 League, and the top 5 has been very, very much unchanged throughout the season, actually. Mission are powered by Mords are having a brilliant start to this season, and let's see if they continue into the second half of the season. But Adam Wilson-Weir has racked up the most points for that team. He's also teammated by George Stone and Lucas Seedle, who's also picked up a few wins in the gold category. Second place is CSA Team Wozer, consisting of Stefan Wessels, Jeffrey Kruger and Kyle Ustason. All 3 of those drivers have picked up wins in their respective categories this season. Aztec Racing in the Ford Mustangs, driven by Gabriel Papaconstantino, Gabriel Yilmaz and Matthew Cheverton, take up the 3rd place. And then the following 2 teams are both Quatermass Motorsport teams, including Andy Chell, Mike Barber and Harry Langford in the 1st. And in the 2nd team, Jack Pittas, Ben Bennyworth and Simon Hunt. So that's the team's standings and the driver standings heading into tonight. Now we will go through the grid later on, but the drivers who are at the back of the championship standings, or at the bottom of the championship standings should I say, will start at the front of the grid tonight here at Bathurst. And those who are top of their category in the championship will start further back in their groups. That's something to bear in mind tonight. Now, you will notice, first of all, it's a little bit misty up in the mountain here at Bathurst. It is winter in Australia at the moment, so the weather is going to be a little bit unpredictable, particularly as we're a little bit out here in the sticks here at Bathurst, about 200 kilometres west of Sydney. But, yeah, it is quite misty out there. It's low temperatures, very low track temperatures, which means it is actually going to be very grippy for the drivers. Well, I say grippy, it's going to be very easy to turn into these corners, which might be helpful, might not be on other parts, but will help the tyres as well with it being cool. The tyres do take a little bit of a beating here at Bathurst. So that is all to bear in mind as we head towards this race, which is coming up in just 2 minutes' time, ladies and gentlemen. But leaders of our each of our categories are our championship leaders at the moment in practice. Ben McCluskey at the top in the gold category, and in the silver category is Jeffrey Kruger, and in the bronze category is Adam Wilson-Weir, who is quicker not only than all bronze category drivers, he's quicker than all the silver category drivers as well right now, and all the practice that he's been putting in is showing right now. But tonight, the championship leaders will start at the back of their categories, and it's good that they've got good lap times, but you know, being quick is one thing, catching and passing other drivers is going to be another thing. It's difficult here at Bathurst, very difficult to overtake with the elevation changes, with the narrow track width, with the tricky corners we've got here. So that's going to be key to look out for, and I reckon drivers are going to utilise pit stops as much as they possibly can, as few as they can, but as best as they can, to get the better of their opponents if they are struggling to overtake on this circuit. So, we are just moments away from our second endurance round of the championship. The last one was round 3 at Montreal, and tonight is here at Bathurst. And we normally see about 2 or 3 pit stops in these endurance rounds. And drivers will have 80% capacity fuel, and actually they're only allowed to refuel to 80% capacity of fuel. That's something to bear in mind, actually. There we go. Thank you to the broadcaster for updating the graphic there very quickly. But yeah, they're allowed to refuel to 80%. So yeah, not as much fuel as you would have in a typical endurance on iRacing. And checking flags out for this practice session. It will instantly end soon. We'll be heading to the grid. So the championship leaders in each category doing very well in practice, but let's see how they get on in the race here. This is the grid for our opening race of the night. Only race of the night, sorry, here at Bathurst. On pole position for the gold category is going to be Sean Shute in the CSA car. Alongside him will start Ben Bennyworth in the second position. Corey Price will start third position with Jamie Dory alongside on that second row. And it's Jesse Payne-Wilkins and Ben Altria making it an all full tilt third row. Mike Barber in 7th with Gaz Williams in 8th position. Jack Pittas will line up 9th with Stefan Wessels in 10th. Harry Langford and Ben McCluskey are top of the championship table. They will start 11th and 12th. In the silver category, we have got Jopi Siemens and Paul Williams will start at the front of that grid, and they'll have Jason Raff and George Stone starting 3rd and 4th in their category. 5th and 6th will be Nigel Stock and Phil McDougall, with 7th place on the grid, Alan McCain, following a great round at Zandvoort for himself. Matthew Addy, 3rd in the championship, will start 8th, and 2nd and 1st in the championship for the silver category will be Matthew Cheverton and Jeffrey Kruger at the back of their category grid. In the bronze category, quite a few drivers in this category, 14 drivers in the bronze category racing tonight, and at the front of the grid will be Andy Chell in Quatermass Motorsport, and alongside him will be Stephen de Grivelia. Mark Sykes, Mr. Next Gen himself, will start 3rd on this grid, with Danny Switzer, a former winner in the bronze category, will start 4th position. Sammy Aribo will start 5th with Michael Evangeli in 6th position. Andy Rooney in 7th with Elwyn Sykes, the last season bronze champion, in 8th place. John Berry will start in 31st overall and 9th on this grid with Simon Hunt in 10th. Stein Vatens will start 11th with Rob Savage alongside him in the 12th position. And then the final two on the grid at the very back of the overall grid and the very back of the bronze category will start Wesley Lewin and championship leader Adam Wilson-Weir. That's our grid for this endurance round tonight, and there's still a couple of drivers gridding up here and just trying to work out where on the track they are. There we go. So it's actually going to be a short formation lap, a very short one. They're going to go around the final chicane and then the final 90-degree corner of Murray's, and that'll be the start of the race. Not much time to warm up the tyres. We are just waiting for drivers to grid up, and then we'll get going for this only race of the night. And drivers will start in their groups and their categories, but they will be spread out by about 3 or more seconds. And one driver didn't make it to the grid. In fact, I think 2 drivers didn't make it to the grid. I'm seeing Andy Roney and Stein Vatens didn't make it to the grid. That's a big shame for Stein Vatens, especially as he was fairly high up in the championship. So it's going to push a lot of those bronze category drivers forward, because both Rooney and Vatens were bronze category drivers. And look at this weather. It's going to be so difficult to pick out the crowd here. But let's see if we can have a nice, safe lap 1 for these drivers. Sean Shute will lead us to the line. And you can see on the track map there, the gold category drivers are in their own group at the front, and then there's quite a gap to the silvers, and then quite a gap to the bronze category drivers. But as soon as the bronze category drivers get moving, the gold category drivers will be off and away, but all drivers must wait in their categories. But here we go, the gold category is go. Sean Shute leads us off the line with Ben Bennyworth alongside. We've got Corey Price there, who's a former endurance winner. He's right in 3rd place. Looking for 2nd place already is Corey Price as we head out of turn number 1 and up the mountain straight with this gold category. Up the hill they go, and is looking fairly clean so far from this category. Jopi Siemens, supposed to be silver category, has started really early there. But Paul Williams will lead the silver group off here and into turn number 1 with a nice gap already to the other silver category drivers. All going a little bit wide. There was Matthew Addy, and he loses a place to Cheverton and Kruger as a result. But up the mountain we go. Paul Williams is at the front of this pack. Now to the bronze category, Andy Chell and Stephen de Grivelia side by side as they come across the line. We've got Mark Sykes right behind here in 3rd place as we filter into turn number 1. Mission R cars side by side. That's Sammy Ariba and Michael Evangeli there getting through turn number 1. And Adam Wilson-Weir is up 1 place already from his starting position. Let's get to the gold category as Sean Shute still leads as we head over the mountain and now down the mountain. That is the Montreal Endurance winner, Corey Price, in second place already. He'll definitely feel hungry for a win tonight, and he's flashing his lights already to try and put off Sean Shute. Presumably that's what they're trying to do, and now they're towards the bottom of the mountain. It's the flat out straight here of the Conrod Straight. Very exciting straight here at Bathurst. The highest speed they'll reach on this circuit. This is on board with Corey Price in the slipstream, 6th gear, following Sean Shute up ahead. Breaking into the chicane. Nice exit there from the chicane, from the chase from Corey Price. Is he going to go for a move into the final corner? I don't think he is just yet. But Corey Price looks desperate to get himself into the first place. You definitely feel he can win this race, given what happened a couple of weeks ago at Montreal. And he's now got the inside of Sean Shute as we head towards turn number 1 for lap number 2. Sean Shute goes into the corner and they make contact. Shute goes round and into the gravel trap at turn number 1. He hasn't hit the barrier, so he's able to get it going again, but he has to wait for all drivers to pass to safely rejoin the track. Let's get another replay of that. We'll get an angle from above so we can see the angle of the drivers. So a bad exit, and Corey Price was able to get to the inside, and he's definitely alongside there. If we slow this down, Sean Shute was a little late on the brakes as well. He turns into the corner, but Corey Price is still there. And he must have thought he was clear potentially, but that has sent him way down the order, and he's going to have to play catch-up for the rest of the race. But Jamie Dory has now passed into first place now. He's the leader of the gold category, and this is how he got it done, and this is straight after turn number 1.
Penalty, car 111 for a false start.
False start, car 111. That's Jopi Siemens. We saw he started with the gold pack. He was meant to start with the silver pack, and that might be due to that might be what caused that penalty. But that is Jamie Dory there in the gold category, past Corey Price and into the lead of this race. Now, silver category. Let's pick on some other categories now. That is Paul Williams in second place. Now, I'll declare him first place because Siemens will have to come into the pits to serve his penalty. Not something you want early on in an endurance race, is a penalty like that. But the silver category, they're fairly clustered together, but the two main championship protagonists, Jeffrey Kruger and Matthew Cheverton, fairly close together. They're ahead of George Stone and Matthew Addy, which means they've progressed some places. Oh, and we've got an instant here. That's Paul Williams off into the wall, and Jason Raff. And this is a replay of how that happened. Let's see if we can get a good angle of it. Paul Williams heading into the corner. They're quite far apart actually, so we'll see what happens. Into the corner goes Paul Williams. Oh, and it was a big dive to the inside actually from Jason Raff, and it just did not work. Paul Williams was a complete passenger in that. We got side by side in the bronze category. Now Danny Switzer is a former winner in this category, in this championship, and actually Danny Switzer won a feature race some time ago, and now he's about to make his way into the lead here, and he's got Mark Sykes potentially pushing him down the straight as we head towards the chase. Very, very daring braking here, and he has long extended his braking, shortened his braking distance from Andy Chell. He actually went off the track a little bit there, and Andy Chell fights back to the outside. He'll go for the next corner, and he comes across to guard the inside going into the left hand of the final corner. Switzer powers it around the outside, but there's a little bit of room run out there as he takes a little bit of the grass, and Mark Sykes takes the inside. 3 wides, they head towards the front straight here, and Mark Sykes will try and take second place for Andy Chell. Oh, there was a tiny bit of contact there, and actually Stephen de Gravelia had to back out of that even though he's in 4th place there. But Danny Switzer takes the lead here, and we've seen he's capable of winning many races in this bronze category. He won the most races in the bronze category last season, and he's won a race already this season. Into turn number 3, our championship leader, Adam Wilson-Weir, has gone wide there, and he's relinquished a position to Wesley Lewin. And that'll put him in 9th place for the moment.
Drive-through penalty, car treble 3 for speeding in the pit lane.
That's Stein Vatens. It's gone from bad to worse for him. He started from the pits, I believe. he had, stewards have reported to us he's sped in the pit lane, so that's not a good start to his race. He was fairly high up in the championship as well, so that is not a good start to his night. Now in the silver category, we missed a little bit here as Nigel Stock is now in the lead of this category. It's shuffled up a little bit due to the incident we saw not too long ago between Paul Williams and Jason Raff. But Nigel Stock, who has had a bit of a mid-start to the season, I would say, but a lead here is very good news for him, and we'll see how he can carry this forward. Cheverton is in third place, which is a brilliant start to this endurance race for him on only lap 4. And Jeffrey Kruger is not too far behind in 5th place here. And they've got Alan McCain right between them. Now these three were battling close together at the end of the race last time out at Zandvoort. So could we see that again tonight? But might we see Phil McDougall get involved in said battle and Nigel Stock? Or will they pull away? We'll have to find out as the race goes on. Gold category still 1 and 2. Jamie Dory and Corey Price. They've broken away a little bit from Ben Bennyworth here, who's under a little bit of pressure from Ben Altria. So the two Bens facing it off with each other. But championship leader Ben McCluskey is in 9th place, up a few places, and he's ahead of closest rival Harry Langford for the moment. So that's a good start for Ben McCluskey. And Stefan Wessels is right in front of him. Now, Stefan Wessels didn't finish the last endurance round at Montreal, so that'll mean he needs good points here, because the endurance rounds give you the most points if you're in the higher positions. You can score up to as much as 50 points for finishing positions in these endurance rounds, and if you get the fastest lap, you get a bonus 2 points. And that amount gets you more points than you can get in any other round this season, where they are not endurance races. So it's quite a crucial round for these drivers, particularly at this point in the season. Following Gaz Williams down this straight. He's broken away a little bit from Ben McCluskey. Not much, but it's a little bit of a gap. As they head into turn number 1, Gaz Williams just guarding the inside a little bit to make sure. Oh, hang on a minute. Jamie Dory is spun at the chase. Let's see how that happened. But he was in the lead. And that gives the lead to Corey Price. So heading into the chase is quite a distance between the two. Into the chicane we go. Price is very late on the brakes, and there is contact. Rear end contact, and that sends Jamie Dory around. And that sends him to the back of the category. Oh, you'd be gutted about that, because it was looking like it was a very good start to this race for Jamie Dory. He's got all that catching up to do, similar to that of Sean Shoots. We'll see what happens to Corey Price there, because he definitely broke too late for that chicane. Now, silver category, I'm going to take a look to them, because Phil McDougall has set the fastest lap of the race so far. We're only 5 laps in, but he's catching up with Nigel Stock. And that means he's also breaking away from Matthew Cheverton behind. And there's quite a distance to Matthew Cheverton behind, as you can see there. 2-second gap. And we have to switch to the bronze category, as Mark Sykes is now ahead of Danny Switzer. Here's how he did it. Right behind Danny Switzer as we head into the final corner. Take the outside goes Mark Sykes. Oh, and he's going to try the up and under, the undercut out of the corner. That's a fantastic move out of the final corner for Mark Sykes to take the lead in the bronze category. Mr. Next Gen himself waving the flag for the Next Gen team in this bronze category. Now he's at the front. Let's see how Danny Switzer reacts to that. John Berry in 4th place. He's a driver that's won multiple races this season in the bronze category, so it's definitely worth keeping an eye on him tonight as well. John Berry has won 3 races this season, 2 sprints and 1 feature race. Adam Wilson-Weir is the previous endurance race winner in this category. Okay, so we got to that point in the endurance race here where things are just calming down a little bit across some of these categories. There's going to be a few battles established here, but drivers will now settle into a rhythm to try and get themselves towards the end of the race and think about their first pit stop in about 20 to 25 minutes time. But we did see at Montreal there were a lot of drivers fuel saving in that race. Definitely towards the end, and a lot of drivers were helped out with frequent safety cars heading out onto the circuit during that race. In fact, it wasn't a safety car. It was a full course caution. Oh, I think we have seen a move, or we are seeing a move for third place here in the bronze category. John Berry making his way past Andy Chell before the chicane, but Andy Chell, oh, I thought, yeah, he did outbrake himself a little bit. It was nearly just right, but Andy Chell outbrakes himself and goes off a little bit, and now he's under trouble for fourth place here from Stephen de Gravellia, who's right on his outside, but to the inside goes Wesley Lewin, trying to take two in one corner there. Now he got Stephen de Gravellia. Will he get Andy Chell? He's got the inside for the next corner. He covers off Adam Wilson-Weir, who's on the inside of Stephen de Gravellia, heading into turn number one. Late on the brakes is Andy Chell, and through he goes. Nice defending there from Andy Chell in front of Stephen de Gravellia and Wesley Lewin. But it's quite a gaggle of cars behind now as Stephen de Gravellia is alongside Adam Wilson-Weir, or should we say Wilson-Weir is alongside de Gravellia, trying to make his way into sixth place here, but de Gravellia had the inside line for this corner, but arguably the outside is the better line for the position they were in, and Wilson-Weir is now in front before they get into the next corner. Up to sixth place goes our championship leader. Towards the front of this category, Mark Sykes is opening a gap to Danny Switzer. What has Mark Sykes had for tea today? Fantastic from him tonight at the moment. 1.5 clear of Danny Switzer in the Mustang. Close still, silver category between Nigel Stock and Phil McDougall. Now, looking at all the mist that is here at Bathurst today, this is what the drivers can see. So it's not terribly invisible for these drivers, but it will affect them in some way, having this lack of visibility around the circuit. But there's no problem seeing Phil McDougall right on his rear. Here's Nigel Stock. They complete another lap here at Bathurst, start a brand new lap, and they are still quite a way clear of Matthew Cheverton, who's going to have one eye on his relative looking forward, and one eye on his mirrors looking back at McCain and Kruger right behind him, who have the pace potential to contend with Cheverton. We've seen that in the last round at Zandvoort, as we see a driver heading out of the pits there. I think that's Michael Evangeli, and he'll have to let these drivers by as he rejoins the race. Corey Price still leads in the gold category, 1.5 seconds clear of Ben Bennyworth. He's got a couple of drivers behind him lurking around. That's Mike Barber and Ben Altria. Oh, as Ben Altria hits the wall heading over the mountain there, he's actually got a missing front bumper there, so that's going to be affecting his grip. But the good thing about these endurance rounds is if you get excessive damage, or if you get any form of damage when you come into the pits, you will be able to repair it magically with a fast repair. It's a little bit of a get out of jail free card that you can have on iRacing, that some drivers that the drivers have here at Next Gen Racing in the GT3 League, and that is George Stone in the wall, trying to get going again. This is how he did that. 8th place at the moment. He's heading around the hairpin that's coming up next. But yeah, a little bit heavy-footed going into the hairpin there. And it sends the rear end around. They're quite sensitive setups on these cars, and they're very, very loose cars anyway, are these GT3s. Now, we've got Jeffrey Kruger ahead of Alan McCain, and this is how he did it. Alan McCain went off the track. He's following close behind Matthew Cheverton, and this is at the top of the circuit. This is heading towards McPhillamy. Fast left-hander. Oh, and he's turned way too late for the corner. He's had to go off the track, and he's had to slow down to just keep the car in a straight line and recover it, and that allows Jeffrey Kruger in front and into 4th place in this race. But McCain will fight back. He's back on the rear of Kruger, and Kruger is not too far away from Cheverton, so McCain's lost a place, but he hasn't lost much ground. The bronze category, you can see on the track map up there, it's fairly split up between this category now. We've got 2nd and 3rd place fairly close together. Danny Switzer is under a bit of pressure here from Jonathan Berry, and we've got Andy Chell here, still under pressure from Wesley Lewin, Adam Wilson-Weir, and Stephen de Gravellia has dropped off a little bit from this pack. But it's a brilliant start to the race, as I mentioned just a moment ago, from Mark Sykes. Championship protagonists, look how close McCluskey is to Wessels, and right in front of Wessels is McCluskey's teammate, Gaz Williams. Now, I don't know how much the Next Gen guys like to work together, but you know, Gaz Williams holding up Stefan Wessels will certainly help out Ben McCluskey. But the thing is, it's going to be a little bit of a slipstream train when they go down the straights, when they're all gaggled together like that. And especially with Jesse Payne-Wilkins, who's right ahead of this pack. Now, Wessels looks quite close to Gaz Williams, but let's see if he can get any closer down this straight. And as I mentioned, it's a bit of a slipstream train, so it will be harder to gain down these straights. There's no help of DRS or anything like that. You know what, he's actually backed off the throttle a little bit early there, so that could be a fuel-saving tactic, or that could be just a safe tactic to get through the corner without braking too late. It's easily done at that chicane, is braking too late. Oh, Wesley Lewin's running a bit slow here at the top of the mountain. He's following behind Andy Chell there. Right behind is Adam Wilson-Weir, so let's see what's happened to Wesley Lewin. Oh, the rear end just gives way when he hits the curb, and a big front end hit with the barrier, which means he's going to have damage and have to go back to the pits potentially to repair that damage. Or then again, actually, it's not looking too... it looks like the car's a little bit dysfunctional now as he hit the barrier again then, and he's going to have to recover his race somehow, whether that's going into the pits or not. Now, Jesse Payne-Wilkins in a bit of trouble here. He's lost position to Wessels, McCluskey and Langford. And here will be how it happened. It looked like it happened so quickly. We're heading down the second straight here after turn 1, heading towards turn number 2, which is Quarry Bend. There goes Gaz Williams to the inside. And so does Wessels, and that disrupts the rhythm of Jesse Payne-Wilkins a little bit, and that allows McCluskey and Langford through. Not a good sequence of corners there for Jesse Payne-Wilkins, unfortunately. That puts Wessels still behind Gaz Williams. They're in the clear now, and they've got to work on catching back up with Ben Altry, who's up the road by 1.7 seconds. Corey Price extends his lead, 2.2 seconds. Would be a little bit of a question mark about that incident with Jamie Dory earlier, but also the question mark about the Sean Shute incident earlier, albeit it looked a bit more less of the fault of Corey Price heading through that corner early on in the race. But we'll see what happens as we've got a big battle here. Now Gaz Williams dropped behind Wessels, and Langford's trying to go around the outside of both next-gen drivers. Langford's a bit wide there. He will relinquish the position there to McCluskey again. Wessels is back in front of Gaz Williams. Now, let's see how that happens. And this is quite a far way back. And actually, because Gaz Williams has got no one in front helping him out, Wessels is able to gain on Gaz Williams down the straight now. Like I was mentioning, the slipstream train's gone. He dummies him to the left and then the right. He's able to get in front, bunch up the pack. That's a clever move from Wessels. And McCluskey wasn't able to get around Gaz Williams because Gaz Williams blocked him off. Oh, we've got an instant between Payne-Wilkins and Pittas. That is car destroyed there for Jesse Payne-Wilkins. Literally just caught that, but let's get that again. I believe that, I don't think it was Jack Pittas. It might have been, it was Sean Shute actually.
Full course yellow, 15 seconds.
Oh, there we go. We have got a four-course yellow. And look at that. Sean Shute to the inside of Jesse Payne-Wilkins. And it just sends
10,
him rounding into the barrier.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow.
There we go. Drivers will slow down now while the track clears up a little bit. And that'll be due to the incident that happened to Jesse Payne-Wilkins at turn number 2. And look how slow that track map is moving now, because these drivers have to go at crawling pace. And when they're told to get going again, we'll hear race control call it. But Jesse Payne-Wilkins will not be happy about that. He's towed back to the pits. The car is absolutely destroyed with heavy impact into the wall there. Sean Shute involved in that incident right on the back of Langford. So he's carried on okay, not too much damage for him. But it's safe to say that Sean Shute has been at the source of a lot of drama tonight so far. So the gold category heading down the back straight now. And the bronze category are heading towards the end of the second straight towards turn number 2. This might disrupt Mark Sykes' lead a little bit. We'll have to find out. But also, Nigel Stock has dropped off of top spot here. Let's see how that's happened. Well, it might have happened some time ago without noticing. Yeah, it did. Let's just go quick to a replay of that. So here we go. Phil McDougall's quite close to Nigel Stock. This is a replay from a few moments ago. Oh, actually, there was contact between the two, and Nigel Stock hits the barrier. And that ends up giving up positions to the rest of them in silver category. Let's just have another quick look at that, and we'll slow it down a little bit when it gets closer to it. Flash of lights there from Phil McDougall. Goes to the inside. Oh, it's not too sure actually. It looked very narrow on the inside there.
Full course yellow ending. Wait for the countdown.
There we go. Drivers will be able to get going as soon as race control declares.
4, 3, 2, 1. Green flag.
There we go. Drivers get going. And that's Corey Price, the leader of the gold category, getting away. So we'll see when they cross the next timing beams what the gaps are for all these drivers. It might disrupt some, it might help others, that full course caution. And Corey Price heads out of turn number 1 for the restart here. He's 3.5 seconds clear of Ben Bennyworth, and Wessels is, and his pack are still quite a way off 2, 3 and 4. To do back, Gaz Williams just behind. Sorry, Ben McCluskey just behind. So he's got ahead of Gaz Williams. There's been quite a few notable incidents in this race actually, some real dramatic ones that have changed like leaders and prominent positions in this race. We've seen Corey Price with Jamie Dory, we've seen Phil McDougall with Nigel Stock. Oh, something's happened to Andy Chell here. Oh, he's just gone off the track. I think his internet might have had a little bit of a wobbly there. He's potentially... No, I don't think he is going to get going again. He's dropping a lot of positions. He's not gone to the pits, but he's dropped a lot of places from what was looking like a fairly decent race for Andy Chell so far. It's a bit of a shame for him. He's right behind Elwyn Sykes, and he's going to continue and try and move. Going into turn number 1. Big dive to the inside there. Brilliant move from Andy Chell. And he nearly finishes it off, but he's helping Simon Hunt through here on the outside of Elwyn Sykes now as we head up the hill. So Simon Hunt following Andy Chell. You'll want Andy Chell to get back on the racing line to help tow him along. But to the inside still. Oh, it's Elwyn Sykes as he goes very deep into turn number 2, but he's able to keep it on the racing line, and that gets him back in front and still in 9th position. Into the hairpin we go. I did think that Simon Hunt was going to go for a move there, but he doesn't. Looking out of the corner, Simon Hunt had a much better exit from the hairpin there. But Elwyn Sykes safely in front. Now, Ben Bennyworth has pulled the trigger and he's gone into the pits. Yes, nothing's happened to him there, and we have had something happen to Jeffrey Kruger, sorry, not too long ago. He's dropped a bit of time actually. Oh dear! Oh, and the car gets out of shape and he hits the wall. This is championship leader in the bronze category, trying to get by Stein Vatens there, and the car just completely loses shape. And this is bad news for Jeffrey Kruger. Is he into the pits? No, he's not. He's carrying on at the moment, but he's lost a lot of ground from his rivals. Matthew Cheverton is into 2nd place here, gaining on Phil McDougall now, and he's broken away from Alan McCain. So this is a big opportunity here with Jeffrey Kruger, albeit there's still 75%, in fact more, of the race left remaining. This is a big opportunity for Cheverton to get into the top spot here and get beyond Jeffrey Kruger in the bronze category. Yes, fastest lap of the race, I do believe. For John Berry in the bronze categories, he tries to hunt down Mark Sykes here. As we see Danny Switzer looking to make a move here on Ben Bennyworth. That is not for category position. And up here we're seeing Alan McCain slowing as well. And the Mountain is claiming some people's races now by the looks of it. Alan McCain has had an incident, and here's what happened. Out on his own here. This is going into McPhillamy. This corner is really claiming a few drivers' races here. Look at it go sideways. Nothing Alan McCain could do about that once it's gone sideways. And a little bit of damage on the car. That won't be as bad as Jeffrey Kruger's, but it has lost him a lot of ground. And now he's under a bit of pressure from Matthew Addy, who has got Jeffrey Kruger here trying to recover his race. Already on it. There's challenges for 5th place in the silver category. Side by side as they go into the chicane. Through goes Kruger. Clinical move there. And back into 5th place. And now he can look to getting back Alan McCain here. That's Stein Vatens that Kruger tried to pass just a moment ago. Letting by these drivers, he is more a lap or more down. As Kruger is a little bit wide, heading out of Murray's corner there. But they're some way behind Nigel's, not behind Nigel Stock, but he's just made a mistake heading out of turn number 1. But Matthew Cheverton is all the way up the road here, 2.5 seconds behind Phil McDougall, who's got a back marker right behind him there. That's Paul Williams. But Phil McDougall is out in front here, and we'll just have Cheverton to worry about now. Gold category, and we mentioned that the bronze category driver John Berry has just set another fastest lap of the race in category, so he's now within 1.3 seconds of Mark Sykes. We've also got Stefan Wessels, who's just set the fastest lap of the race in the gold category, so the tyres were allowed to cool down a little bit during the full course caution, and that allows the drivers to get a real good lap in as soon as they've gone green again. And that's what Wessels has done, and that is what John Berry has done. That's Kruger making his way by Alan McCain. I think McCain is limping a little bit. I'm surprised Kruger is running as fast as he is, actually. Oh, and actually McCain gets out of shape again. Oh, Kruger did well to avoid that. But because the car is out of shape there, it means that his grip is not the same on Alan McCain's car, and them pitting soon might be a good opportunity for them to take a fast repair, get the car sorted and get back onto pace. But they'll also be conscious about the fuel strategies they'll be on. Now, I'm not hugely aware of how the fuel strategies are going to work in this race, but we did see from a couple of rounds ago at Montreal how it kind of worked, and there was a lot of fuel saving towards the end. Drivers might be conscious of that, and they'll try and extend this stint as much as they can. Now, we've reverted back to Ben McCluskey here as he set fastest lap of the race, but we've also got Ben Altrier and Mike Barber here having a tussle. Ben Altrier with a missing front bumper. Might be slowing him down a little bit. Now he's near 4 seconds down from Corey Price, who's doing similar to what he did at Montreal, just extending his lead at the front. Mike Barber here will be looking to get in front of Ben Altrier. Mike Barber on Tuesday night in the blue lobby for the NXTCC was involved in a lot of the battles that night. And this is the battle he's involved in right now, second place. But he's got Stefan Wessels right behind him, considered one of the championship protagonists. As we've got a lot of bronze category drivers in the pits. Danny Switzer, John Berry, Rob Savage, Adam Wilson-Weir, Stephen Gravelia, they're all in the pits. Bronze category drivers pitting earlier than the gold and silver drivers. So will we see the gold drivers heading into the pits shortly? Price has got the luxury of a clear track around him, which means he can lift and coast into corners to try and save fuel. Doesn't then into the chase. which is a big opportunity to do so. So he must feel okay at the moment. Oh, we have to switch over to silver category. Oh no, that's Alan McCain stuck on the mountain, and that is a very dangerous place. Struggling to get going again, but let's just get a quick replay of what happened to him. Drivers diving into the pits now. Corey Price and Stefan Wessels are. And Alan McCain heading over the mountain. The car completely out of shape. He backs off, but that's still not enough. The car just completely loses it again. Oh, and Stein Vatens goes straight into him. And Matthew Addy had to make a stop as well, just to make sure he could get around safely. Lost him a lot of time, but it was probably the safest thing to do. And Alan McCain is still stuck up there.
Full course yellow in 15 seconds.
Oh, there we go. And due to Alan McCain's incident, we're going to have a full course yellow. And a lot of drivers are in the pits, so was that the best time for them to come into the pits? Probably would have been in Formula 1 cases.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow.
Ben Altria, the leader of the gold category, will slow down, and the rest of the pack will slow down to crawling speeds. As the track clears away, the marshals get to work of getting rid of the debris as well. Alan McCain's moving again. But look at the sparks under the car. Oh, and look at the front right wheel. Not moving at all. There you can see it. And this is going to be so difficult for him to get it back to the pits. Great call from the race directors there to call a caution with Alan McCain stranded at the top of the mountain there, still trying to get it back to the pits, because towing it back to the pits takes a lot longer. That would be why he wanted to get it back to the pits. And we'll have to see what happens in this gold category now, because quite a lot of drivers pitting early. Corey Price, our previous race winner, being race leader, being one of them, and Stefan Wessels. But in the bronze category, Wesley Lewin, will he take to the pits here? Might well do so. Yeah, if I was him, I probably would as well. So, and Mark Sykes is heading out of the pits. So for Wesley Lewin, it's probably the best opportunity for him to actually pit. And Mark Sykes, doing the same, might reap the benefits of that. I think John Berry and Danny Switzer have fallen foul to that, actually, because they're just crawling towards the pits and they won't be able to get the benefit of their undercut anymore. So this could be a real pivotal point in the bronze category. Wesley Lewin and Elwyn Sykes would not be losing much time here in the pits. And I believe Sykes... Yeah, Mark Sykes was just in the pits there, so he's really going to benefit from this. He's going to have a massive lead in this bronze category. Now, Lewin's heading out of the pits. Sykes will follow. Still fuel going into the car for Elwyn Sykes, and I believe he's taking on fresh tyres as well. But Lewin's heading out of the pits. He's now got second place.
The track is now clear, full course yellow ending.
Marshals and race control are happy. We'll get going very shortly.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Green flag.
Drivers can get going again. You can see Ben Altria put his foot down. Now the unfortunate thing is for John Berry and Danny Switzer, who have already pitted, I believe. They've lost a lot of time to Mark Sykes. who, look at him, he's nearly at the top of the mountain already, as John Berry and Danny Switzer are only just starting their next lap. So it's nearly half a lap, maybe about a third of a lap difference, with no pit stops in hand. And Adam Wilson-Weir has got a lot of work to do here. Now let's see if he's pitted yet. He has. So this is not good news for Adam Wilson-Weir. There's huge gaps in the bronze category now. That four-course caution fell at the wrong place and the right place for some of the bronze category drivers here. Current leader of the gold category, though, Ben McCluskey, who's the only one who hasn't pitted. He's the one who's able to extend his stint here. Now, we saw that at Montreal last time. He's incredibly good at saving fuel. Corey Price heads down the start-finish straight. He'll pass back by Ben Altria. Now, because Corey Price already pitted, that four-course caution wouldn't have hurt him too much, particularly as other drivers didn't go into the pit. It might have been a good opportunity, actually, for Ben McCluskey to have done so. I do wonder about that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when Ben McCluskey eventually heads into the pits. But Price is still our leader in gold category, albeit a much shorter gap now to Wessels, who's only 2.6 seconds behind Corey Price. Jamie Dory's racer's recovering a little bit here. He's not too far behind Wessels. We've got Mike Barber, Ben Bennyworth, Gaz Williams and Langford quite a way down here. In fact, they're behind the top three in the silver category right now. They're taken up by Phil McDougall, Matthew Cheverton and Jeffrey Kruger. Despite the issues he's had, it's not too far behind Matthew Cheverton and Phil McDougall. So Kruger's able to do it again, like Zandvoort, where he had a bad start to the race. He was near to challenging for a race win. McCluskey's in the pits. This is the time. So we'll see how he compares to the other drivers. Second place, Jesse Payne-Wilkins, I believe, did tow back to the pits. But he'll be well out of strategy here, so we'll see how his race materialises as a result. But it's about Corey Price versus McCluskey here. Now, I imagine Corey Price will get past McCluskey in this instance. But how many other gold category drivers will pass by? Payne Wilkins will pass through into the lead of the race, which might put a smile on his face, given what's happened to him in this race so far. But how long that'll last, we'll have to find out. Price now passes the line and passes McCluskey, who's not going yet, and one of his rivals, Wessels, passes by. This isn't working out for Ben McCluskey as I had predicted. He's below Jamie Dory and Sean Shute and Jack Pittas now. Ben Altria has passed by as well. There he goes. So McCluskey has lost a lot of ground, especially from Stefan Wessels, and these are the silver category drivers now going to be right behind Ben McCluskey. Now, they do say that the best tactic to learning how to drive a track is following other drivers in front of you, and Phil McDougall has got Ben McCluskey right in front of him. That is definitely the benchmark to follow when it comes to driving lines, braking points, etc. But he hasn't got that to worry about. He's got Cheverton right behind him to worry about. And I think we could be in for a very good silver category battle here. And Kruger right on the rear of this bunch here. Somehow he has recovered his race here. Championship leader. Cheverton must be really annoyed, seeing his eyes might have lit up when he saw Kruger stranded on the side just a few moments ago. But now he's right on his rear thinking, oh, what do I have to do? Now, bronze category, as we mentioned, Mark Sykes has got a very healthy lead here. All he needs to do, really. I do believe Mark likes this track. I think he said to me last night he quite likes driving at Bathurst. And it's showing. He's a long way clear of his nearest rival in bronze category. That's Wesley Lewin, who has definitely reaped the benefits of that four-course caution stop. Same with Elwyn Sykes. Now, Elwyn Sykes, bronze category champion last season, so this right now will be one of his better positions if it finished as it was right now, this would be one of his better positions of the season. Matthew Addy making his way by Langford there and Gaz Williams. They're both battling. And Addy will join in here. This is battle for 11th now in gold category. Goes here in silver category still as well. Actually, what Phil McDougall has broken away a little bit from Cheverton. And like I said about that slipstream train, similar to what you get with the DRS train in Formula 1. Similar with slipstream on the straights here in the GT3s. And you're getting a little bit of that from Ben McCluskey up ahead. Jamie Dory under a little bit of pressure from Sean Shute here. Both of these drivers were leaders of this race. And real close is Sean Shute to the back of Jamie Dory as we head back down the hill now through the chicanes. S's and then the Dipper. Now we head down into Forest Elbow. Sean Shute will need a good exit here. But he wasn't. He actually went in a little bit deep into that corner, turned in a bit early. He brushed against the wall on the exit, and that means Jamie Dory's going to pull away a little bit on this straight here. They've also got Jack Pittas here to worry about as well. And this is for 4th place in category at the moment. It's all a little bit mixed up here. I'm just going to switch over to the overall standings right now. You can still see the positions of all the drivers, but you can see the gold category is mixed in with the silver category, and the bronze category is filtered into the silver category a little bit. So that last full course caution we got has really mixed things up a little bit. And of course they are not fighting for overall position. In fact, their points are scored based on their category position in this championship. But being involved in drivers in other categories can help you out. You can follow other drivers and pull yourselves away or catch up with other drivers. But it can be disruptive at the same time because you're not fighting for points in these battles. Let's take a look back to Mark Sykes. A lead of 26 seconds at the moment in the bronze category. And gold category, a 10-second lead at the moment for Payne Wilkins, but I think he's on a bit of an off strategy. Because of his instant hit earlier, he had to limp it back to the pits. And that happened, well actually, he might not be on as much of an off strategy as one might think. Now we do have a long lap here at Bathurst, actually, a lap of 2 minutes, longer than most tracks we've raced this season. But yeah, a couple of laps there, it might mean that towards the end of the race you'll be fuel saving a little bit more, but that's not as big a gap in the pit strategy as I thought it was going to be actually. So Payne Wilkins might end up in a pretty good place here. Now, the last time we saw a full tilt driver win a race was actually last week. Ben Altria won the feature race last time out at Zandvoort. But Full Tilt Racing won a lot of races 2 seasons ago in season 5. The combination of prototypes and GT3s in this championship. That was my first season broadcasting this league, and Full Tilt Racing, represented by Carol Pachalka, Jesse Payne Wilkins and Ben Altria, had a lot of victories that season, including the teams championship, I believe, and gold category in the GT3s. It is opening up a little bit between Phil McDougall and Matthew Cheverton, as Cheverton drops off only a few tenths on that lap actually, but Kruger was a little bit quicker on that last lap, and he set a personal best as well. But lap times at the moment are coming down. There's a lot of drivers setting PBs at the moment, including race leader Jesse Payne Wilkins. Jeffrey Kruger set his personal best last time by as well. Mike Barber right behind him as well. Not in the same category, but he will definitely be trying to get his race back on track. We definitely want these silver category drivers out of the way so we can focus on trying to catch back up with Ben McCluskey. This is the leader of the silver category. And we are 45 minutes through this race here, a 2-hour race. And I believe the next stop will be when a lot of the strategy comes into play. A lot of the shake-ups we saw with the full course caution a moment ago, it will really come true as to who has benefited from that or not. On board with Kruger here in silver category, 3rd place, championship leader as well. Now as it stands, the way things are right now, the gap will come down to just 2 points between them if this stays as it is between Kruger and Cheverton. Because, he's very late on the brakes heading into the chase there. But yeah, I believe it's the top 8 placings in these endurance rounds per category are separated by 5 points each. The bonus points at the moment go into Phil McDougall as well, which means it can be a 5-point points difference from this round between Kruger and Cheverton. And a 2-point gap heading out of tonight. Definitely safe to say it's the closest of the championship battles we've got this season so far. But if Kruger can manage to get ahead, he can extend his championship lead to 12 points. That's if he got in front. And you can definitely see he's hungry for it, or should we say thirsty for it, Bathurst for it, as he's looking all around Cheverton to try and find a weakness in some of his racing lines here. He might be a little bit worried about Mike Barber as well, but Kruger would be looking all around to try and get by Cheverton. And it actually still blows my mind, really. I mentioned it a few times, I think, on the last round as well. But Kruger was in the bronze category only 2 seasons ago and won that championship. And within a season, he was getting victories last season and battling for the championship. That was with his teammate Carl Oosthuizen. And now he's fighting for the championship right now in silvers. It's been brilliant development from Kruger over those 2 seasons. As he takes a different line through Forest Corner there. We'll switch over. What's happened to John Berry? He's we're just going to check in with him then. He's disappeared. He's back and he's into the wall, so something's happened to him. Internet disconnection potentially. He's gone into the wall, heading out of 2. Through goes Switzer and Adam Wilson-Weir. So John Berry was having a pretty decent race, and this will disrupt him. He's dropped 2 places. Nothing even came up on the timing screen. That's how strange that was just then. Yeah, the internet disconnection, I always say, is the sim racing equivalent of an engine blowing up. It's not something that you want as a sim racer, and we've seen a couple of drivers actually struggle with that. I think we saw Andy Chell struggling a little bit with it earlier, and actually Jonathan Berry looks like he's struggling even more here. Going into the S's then, looked a little bit out of shape. You might be a little bit flustered, and this is not the track to be flustered on. It's very tricky to get your rhythm back here at Bathurst. Let's look forward here as Adam Wilson-Weir might be mounting a challenge for 4th place with Danny Switzer. Good slipstream out of the back corner there. So we head down to the chase. He's alongside. He's got the better side, the better part of the move into the chase. He is later on the brakes. Switzer will try and challenge it with good acceleration on the exit here, but Danny Switzer's car gets a little bit out of shape out of the chase, and Adam Wilson-Weir guards the inside going into Murray's corner now. And that is 4th place for Adam Wilson-Weir. So compared to his rivals at the moment, Wilson-Weir's in a much better place in that last lap, because he's one of his rivals in terms of race wins, John Berry, has fallen behind. But actually, when it comes to the championship fights, his nearest rivals are behind him. So the likes of Steinvatens, the likes of Simon Hunt. Gabriel Papaconstantino's not racing tonight. So Wilson-Weir is in a very good opportunity as Switzer challenges back to the outside, going around Quarry Bend, and actually couldn't quite hold it. It's quite hard on the outside of the corner there, and you can see he's shaking his wheel to get rid of the marbles on his tyres there. As to his inside goes John Berry, challenging straight back. His rhythm might be back now, but he's not able to complete the move at that hairpin as Danny Switzer gets back in front, but he's lost a little bit of time from Adam Wilson-Weir here with that attempted move into Quarry Bend. It's lost him some time. Going out onto the marbles on that part of the circuit is not recommended, but he gave it a go. Could have paid off. This time it didn't. He's fallen about a second behind, so we'll see if he can get his foot down to catch up with Wilson-Weir. But Wilson-Weir is certainly looking quick tonight from the practice times, and now he's got a bit of a clear track around him and in front of him. He's not too far off fastest lap as well. He can focus on getting in some good laps here. The gap between him and Elwyn Sykes, 5.2 seconds, as you can see there. So now is the time, with a bit of time before the next pit stops and no traffic around him, he can get his head down and focus on catching the other drivers in front. Dougal's driving a good race here. 1.8 seconds still clear of Cheverton. That is not coming down at all. We've got Kruger here, no move yet from him on Cheverton. It is getting close for the battle for fourth place in gold category as well. We've got Dory, then Schutz, then Pittas, Ben Altra right behind as well, and Ben McCluskey at the tail of this fight. 4 cars in front of him, and which if he gets in front of all of these cars, that gets him closer points wise to Stefan Wessels, who at this point I would say is one of his main rivals from this race in the championship. Harry Langford is going to lose quite a few points, so don't write him off in the championship just on this round, but points wise it's not looking very good for him tonight as Ben Altria takes a move to Jack Pittas, and through he goes. That puts Ben Altria into 6th place. Oh, and actually we got a silver category battle here as well. Kruger and Cheverton side by side going through the chicane, and through goes Kruger into 2nd place. Now Cheverton will challenge back, but Kruger's guarding on the inside as we go into Murray's corner. Still guarding the inside, heavy on the brakes. And Corey Price is in the pits. Seems a bit of an early stop, that does, so we'll check in with him very shortly. But that is Kruger into 2nd place in category. Let's just stay with it before we look at another replay of that move for 2nd place in category. And it allows Phil McDougall to stretch his lead a little bit. And we've also got Jack Pittas and Ben McCluskey. They were swapping places a little bit just then. But let's go back to that replay. Oh no, McCluskey is moving his way past Pittas as he makes a mistake at the hairpin there. That is McCluskey through into 6th place. This is Kruger versus Matthew Cheverton. Now, Cheverton didn't have much of a slipstream in front of him. McDougall stretched away a little bit. Oh, and here goes Kruger. He looked left and then Cheverton covered it off. Goes right. That was close through the kink there. And Cheverton tried to make that extremely difficult for Jeffrey Kruger, but Kruger stands strong and gets it in front. Brilliant move. Close racing between the two as well. Could have ended in disaster, but they gave each other just enough room to contend. Now, with Corey Price heading into the pits, back out on track, but he headed into the pits. That seemed like an early stop, I would say, from Corey Price, as he only would have pitted about 10 laps previous, so it is a little bit early. We'll see. I think he's now going to end up on a similar strategy to Jesse Payne Wilkins, as he did 10 laps on his first stint. I wonder if this would tell us. No, it won't. But yeah, it's a bit all over the place. The full course cautions we've had have really thrown things out of whack a little bit, whereas in Montreal we did have full course cautions, but they were later on in the race, and they allowed the drivers to fuel save a little bit, whereas this time it's fallen right on strategy windows. So it's really interesting to see what's going on here. Oh, Jamie Dory's had an incident. Oh no, Jamie Dory, rear end missing on the car. He's had a big incident going into turn number 2 there. And John Berry, something's happened to him as well, so we'll get to him very shortly. That's Sean Shute right behind Jamie Dory. Inside goes Sean Shute. Dear. Jamie Dory's had a bit of a rough ride today. Oh, out of shape. Oh, car swerving to avoid him. There's nothing Jamie Dory could do about that. His car is completely ungripped because the rear end is missing on that car. Aerodynamically, it's not performing, and he's now limping it back to the pits. This has been bad to worse for Jamie Dory. He's looking a little bit promising with him being there in 3rd place, but it's just not... It just hasn't gone well for him. Now Ben Altria is going to try for 3rd place now on Sean Shute. Ben Altria is in a really good spot here, position-wise. Following the good form coming out of Zandvoort. Now, we're just going to check on the incident that John Berry had, which was around about the same time that Jamie Dory had his incident. Here is John Berry here. We're watching him go over top of the circuit into the S's. Car out of shape. Yes, a bit too much curb there, and it sends him into the wall. Go through the S's, and that is really going to disrupt his race with a lot of damage there. He might require a fast repair in the pit stops. Now he's going to carry on to see if he can limp this car to the next pit stop period, which will probably be coming up in the next... I don't know really, but it will be coming up soon, I imagine. That's Corey Price passing by Mark Sykes. Now, Mark Sykes, I would say that was clever there of him. He's just got completely out of the way of Corey Price to let him through there. Not his battle, but this is a battle, and it's for positioning category. This is Wilson-Weir versus Elwyn Sykes. This is the battle for the top 3 position. And Wilson-Weir's through. Easy pickings on that straight, both in the same car, so it's purely slipstream pace from Adam Wilson-Weir to get himself into the top 3, which is really good for his championship hopes. All his rivals are behind. Some of his rivals are actually faltered by the wayside in Stijn Vatens. John Berry has had a few incidents. And that's Jamie Dory with the fast repair. We'll be heading back out on Genoa. You'll be heading into his pit stall to take his fast repair. Sean Shute 3rd place, just ahead of Ben Altria, but Ben McCluskey has had a really good lap and he is joining in. Gonna have a little bit of a slipstream here, so it'll be interesting to see how good this lap is actually from Ben McCluskey. I believe actually he's on the fastest lap in the category. Let's just check on that. He is. So he's got bonus points at the moment, which is going to be very helpful, particularly if he can get himself past these 2 drivers up ahead. That's Sammy Ariba getting out of the way. Back marker in the bronze category here, not getting in the way of the gold categories drivers here. That last lap from Ben McCluskey wasn't 2 minute 5.48, so it wasn't that much quicker. He wasn't anywhere near his personal best, so the tyres might be slowing down a little bit. And I don't know if it's still the case with these GT3 cars, but I always used to find that when you started off in your stint, you had pretty good laps, but then it would, your times would peel off as you're halfway through the tank, and then when you get onto the last half a tank or last third of a tank, it would get quicker. Oh, as Ben Altry had to squeeze through there as he had Sean Shute alongside, and Ben Altry is out of shape. Somehow he keeps it out of the wall, but he's lost a lot of ground there. McCluskey got through somehow. McCluskey threaded the eye of the needle there, getting it past the back marker and getting it through Ben Altry despite his mistake, and now McCluskey can put a challenge on for third place in this race. It might not be net third place because Corey Price might be in those upper positions. But this is looking better for McCluskey with the bonus point in his hands as well. He's got to get by Sean Shute here. Oh, Sean brushes against the wall there. That's going to give McCluskey a very good run down this straight here. He's going to have better top end speed. 6th gear already. Look how much he's gaining on Sean Shute down the straight here. The Acura getting bigger and bigger for us as it gets closer and closer to McCluskey, but he doesn't go for the diving move. We know McCluskey well now. He doesn't go for them kind of moves. He waits for the absolute right moment to pick his passes. Final corner. We'll start lap 29. It's worth looking at the silver category for just a moment here. We'll pop back to this battle here. But Kruger and Cheverton battling amongst themselves as we see Mike Barber looking to the inside of Cheverton but not committed to the move. They are 3.4 seconds behind. Phil McDougall's having a quick race here, and he's slowly but surely getting away from second and third place in his category. No move from McCluskey. He might have to wait until we get to the bottom of the mountain here, because it is extremely difficult to overtake here unless the driver in front makes a mistake. Let's just watch throughout this section with Ben McCluskey and the roaring Mustang here. Now we head to the top of the circuit. One of the more fun corners on the circuit, McPhillamy. Now we'll head down the hill. Very steep decline through the S's and the Dipper as we'll head towards Forest Elbow now. As we'll get back down to ground level of this track. Now he took a much later apex there, did Ben McCluskey, and that's going to give him a better straight line exit. Is he close enough to potentially challenge for a move here? Will he go for this? No, he doesn't. Come on, Ben. Make the move. But he's plotting his attack here. They're a further 11 seconds behind Stefan Wessels, so once McCluskey gets through, he'll have to settle down into a rhythm and focus on good lap times. That's what a few of these drivers will be doing here. Look at the gaps in the top three of the bronze category. 15 seconds between Sykes and Lewin, and a further 22 seconds between Lewin and Wilson-Weir. Drivers will be approaching the next pit window soon, I think. Sean Shute is really putting on a challenge against McCluskey here, but we know McCluskey's extremely patient. Did this all of last season, where he just gets through the pack at his own pace. He doesn't panic too much about getting through past them and through them too quickly. As we're seeing, Cheverton and Kruger swap positions again. This is how it happens. Heading up out of turn number 2. Cheverton's going to go for the up and under into the hairpin. Wow, that's a big move, and there's a little bit of contact between the two, but that's a big move from Cheverton to get him back in front, and that's going to help him points wise in the championship if he can keep it that way. You can feel the rivalry between Cheverton and Kruger at this point. Now McCluskey's much closer this time. He's already alongside, look. He's got the outside as we head towards the chicane. He isn't outpacing the Acura here. But will he be later on the brakes? He is much later on the brakes. And he's into the corner first. Brilliant move from McCluskey. That puts him into third place on the track right now. And now is the time where he'll have to get his head down and focus on catching up with Stefan Wessels, one of his championship rivals. Albeit there's quite a gap between Wessels and McCluskey for the championship. A gap of 56 points in actual fact, so McCluskey's really not going to lose much in this race as it stands. In fact, as it stands, he'll only lose 3 points. Because McCluskey holds the bonus points right now for fastest lap. So I don't think he's going to worry too much about not winning this race, but keeping his nose clean, getting to the end in a good position, it'll be what he focuses on right here. That's how he wins championships here at Next Gen Racing. No response from Kruger yet. He's dropped off a little bit from Cheverton actually. Not too much, but a little bit. And Mike Barber here is just stuck behind the two silver category drivers. Now, they won't feel the need to get out the way here because they're fighting for their championship. They're fighting for second in their race. Whereas Mike Barber's in 7th place here, but that'll be what frustrates him. Won't be able to get by these drivers because they will not yield. So it might be down to the pit stops to get him back in front. Massa not having a great race when it comes to the gold category drivers. Mike Barber here in 7th is the highest of them. Bennyworth behind in 8th, and in 9th place is Langford, 2nd at the championship heading into tonight, so this won't be one of his stronger nights points-wise.
All drivers, please respect blue flags.
There we go. Ooh. So, yeah, there we go. It might be the category-to-category battles we're seeing here. Maybe back markers as well, not obeying blue flags as well, because that'll be the official ones that head out on in front of the drivers to obey. You see Alan McCain at the start of the race looking so good for him. It's just not turned out that way, and he's now recovering his race. Likewise with Nigel Stock here in 7th place in the Ferrari. The only Ferrari in the field, actually. Closest battle on the track at the moment is it's all broken up a little bit in this race, but the closest battle is Kruger and Cheverton. We look to Elvin Sykes, he's down to 4th place here. Kruger's gained on Cheverton just a little bit on that lap. And he's got Mike Barber all over the rear of him. This is going to be a race-long battle between Kruger and Cheverton. I don't think they're going to be all that separated unless some drama happens between them. They're not going to be that much separated for the rest of the race, is my opinion. Sean Shute versus Ben Altria is a battle that might be potent here. In fact, imminent. Oh, it's Ben Altria. Had to avoid Sean Shute via the grass. A bit of the flash of the lights there from Altria to say, I don't like what you did then. This will be a battle now for 4th place in the gold category. And the Mustangs are going quite strong tonight. We've got McCluskey in the top 3 at the golds, Cheverton in the top 2. As we're seeing, he's right on the rear of the Acura, heading down the hill here into the final corner. Later on the brakes goes Altria. Racing room given. Oh my word, and a big sharp left turn from Ben Altria there. Are they stuck together? This is... Oh, that was very strange between them two. I'm not entirely sure what happened. And more contact. Rear end contact as they head out of the corner. That was really, really strange what happened there. It looked like Ben Altry just turned left into him. I'm not sure if that was the case or not. But he's not completed the move here. Sean Schute's still in the front position too. Let's keep a close eye on this battle. We've still got Kruger fairly close to Cheverton we need to keep an eye on. So CSA drivers right in the thick of the battles here. Altry right on the rail and he hits the wall. Oh, it might cause a lot of damage to the car. It was a big hit with the wall, and it's that Mustang is a little bit out of shape right now. You can see the front grille is dented in. Oh, and Sean Shute hits the wall now on his right side. Both these drivers pushing desperately hard into the chicane. Ben Altry did look for a move. This feels quite an intense battle right now between Sean Shute and Ben Altry for 4th place in category. And just behind, Jack Pittas is lurking around. I would mind your distance, Jack, if I were you. This is looking intense. Now we head down the main straight. I think Ben Altry might have been a bit close on the exit there, but let's see what he can do. Yeah, he's not quite getting it. He's a little bit alongside, but he's not gaining much more. In fact, he is, yeah, his nose is ahead now, so actually he has got the upper hand of straight line speed. So head towards the chicane. Can he get it in front? Schute's going to fight back, but he can't. Ben Altry outbrakes, and he's in front. Brilliant move from Ben Altry in the end to take 4th place. Now Jack Pittas is going to try and move for that spot of 5th place. Pittas has had a strong season so far. Very consistent, well-driven season. As he takes the inside of Sean Shute, he backs out of it. But yeah, very consistent season from Jack Pittas. He's top 5 in the championship. Now, he hasn't made the headlines with these races, but he's really racked up the points. Back to the silver category battle. Oh, we've had an incident further back. Sammy Ariba is taking a spin, heading out of Forest corner there. He's out on his own there, so it might have been a spin of his own accord there. It's so easily done here at Bathurst. You have to practice a lot at this circuit. I'm not saying anyone's not practiced, that's not what I'm saying, but it is one of those tracks you have to practice at, and that's what a lot of these drivers would have done preparing for tonight. But even still, it's incredibly easy to get it out of shape. I remember doing the Bathurst 12-hour just 2 years ago, and even with hundreds and hundreds of laps of practice, it's so easy to lose your way on this circuit. It's similar with tracks like the Nürburgring. That's what tracks like this in Nürburgring can do. So looking back to this battle for 2nd place in silvers. Oh, and Jesse Payne-Wilkins is into the pits. So his last pit stop came on lap 10. So he's managed 14 laps as he ticks over to 34 now. And that will put Stefan Wessels into the lead of this race for the first time tonight. So let's see where Jesse Payne-Wilkins ends up relative to Corey Price. Because I would say they're on relatively similar strategies, because both of them did a 10-lap stint, which might not put them on the same strategy as other drivers. I'm not too sure why Corey Price went on to that strategy. Ben Benny was in the pits as well, by the way. And here comes Corey Price. Jesse Payne-Wilkins still in his box. Gaz Williams and Harry Langford pass by. Here's Corey Price heading out of the corner now. Payne-Wilkins heading out of his box now. Back onto the track. Now remember, Corey Price was net race leader a few moments ago. But now Payne-Wilkins is in front, and convincingly in front. Despite the incident that Jesse Payne-Wilkins had earlier, he might well be on a decent strategy here. However, it all depends if he can get himself to the end on the same amount of pit stops as the other drivers. That's what we'll have to see for the remainder of this race. Now, there's 45 minutes left in this race. He did 24 laps. He might have an... This would be close for Jesse Payne-Wilkins. Will he have enough fuel to get to the end now? This will be very close. He might have to do a little bit of fuel saving, but he's pushing on the exit of McPhillamy there, getting it off the track a little bit. This is going to be interesting to see. This might be, this might be a good race for Jesse Payne-Wilkins in the end, but we'll have to see. As we've got Stefan Wessels here leading this race now. Now, we'll expect pit stops. Oh, hang on a minute. Kruger's had an instant here, as you can see. He's heading back out on the track, and he's lost a lot of time too. Oh, as Harry Langford just about avoids him there. He's lost a lot of time to Cheverton and to Phil McDougall, and he takes to the pits in emergency there. Now, this is what's happened. That's Mike Barber right behind him there, heading down the Conrod Straight there. Into the chicane we go. Barber does take to the inside. It's a bit half-hearted. Oh. Rear end contact. It sends Kruger around and it loses in touch with Matthew Cheverton. Now he's taken to the pits in emergency there to sort of say, you know what, that's just happened. I'll go into the pits. He still would have lost that time. With all the pit stops that are happening. Now there's some drivers who will end up back in front, but Mark Sykes is now 12th overall in this race. What a race he's having. It's fantastic. Let's head back to the interval times there. He is 12 seconds clear of Wesley Lewin, so he's not out of the woods yet. He really isn't. 12 seconds at Bathurst is probably more like 3 or 4 seconds on other tracks, I would say. Wesley Lewin definitely reaped the benefit of pitting under full course caution earlier on. We might see him, if he can catch up with Mark Sykes, we might see him mount a challenge for bronze category win. But Sykes has driven so well tonight. Better on the lap times as well, and the more recent lap times are around about the same as Wesley Lewin. So he's doing all he needs to do, is Mark Sykes. Jack Pittas is getting closer here to Sean Shute, and in fact he dives to the pits. Might be a good opportunity that to use the pit lane to get in front of Sean Shute. Now the strategy has rolled around, and I'm fairly sure that the drivers will be, at this point, will be able to get to the end, he says. We'll find out. I've been wrong about that in the past. I've been right about it in the past though. But Pittas will use this opportunity to try and get the undercut on Sean Shute, who carries on in 4th place. The driver that was able to extend the stint the longest was Ben McCluskey, and the advantage of that is you're in your pit stop for less time. So you take on far less fuel. It means your pit stop is much shorter. Payne-Wilkins makes his way past Jack Pittas. And what we're looking at here is the pit lane line time for these drivers. Now, Jesse Payne-Wilkins at 1 minute 8.2. Now, that doesn't necessarily tell you how much you lose in the pits. However, a gap to Stefan Wessels of 48 seconds, I would say it's going to be close at this point. Gap between Ben McCluskey and Stefan Wessels is 10 seconds. I'd say without mistake Wessels is fairly safe from McCluskey. And quite a few other drivers in the pits as well. Adam Wilson-Weir is in the pits. He was 3rd place in the bronze category. Elwyn Sykes passes back by and into 2nd place again. No, sorry, Elwyn Sykes hadn't pitted, do excuse me. So this is Wesley Lewin heading back out onto the track. He'll be in 3rd place. Elwyn Sykes yet to pit for his 2nd stop. Sean Schute's in the pits. This might be a response to Jack Pittas just a moment ago. Also in the pits, the 2 silver leaders, McDougall and Cheverton. Mike Barber carries on, passes by. So does Gaz Williams. And these are the drivers who are able to extend their stint. Jesse Payne Wilkins heading around the final corner. He'll be clear of Sean Shute. What about these 2 drivers? Phil McDougall and Matthew Cheverton. Now Phil McDougall is off the jacks already. I wonder if he didn't take on tyres. That is one of the Quatermass drivers. That's Andy Rooney getting away as well. So Phil McDougall leaves the pits around about the same time as Matthew Cheverton there. So no swap of positions from the pit stops. And they've got no threat to their positions in the silver category. It's straight up between them 2. Kruger is heading out of the final corner now, so he's some way behind. But he's got a lot of his race to recover here, due to that incident he had a little bit earlier on. Pittas rejoins. He's right in front of Mark Sykes there, who hasn't pitted yet in the bronze category. He's now up to 9th place, but he's going to drop a few places when he does come into the pits. Wessels dives to the pits now. Now, this is crunch time between him and Jesse Payne Wilkins for the lead of this race. Ben McCluskey will pass by and he'll lead the race again. He did lead earlier on when he was able to extend his first stint. But this is going to be a true test to see if Payne Wilkins is on a good strategy or not. Here he is heading down the back straight. Does he have enough time to get to the front straight and pass Wessels for position? 38 minutes remaining in this race. This will be the final stop for a lot of these drivers. But if some have come in too early, they might need another stop. We did certainly see that at Montreal a couple of weeks ago. Here comes Jesse Payne Wilkins round the final corner. Starts a new lap and away goes Wessels. Into the first corner he goes, and he's now on the throttle. There's Jesse Payne Wilkins right behind, so it hasn't quite worked out for Jesse Payne Wilkins, but he's close to Stefan Wessels. And Corey Price is back here. As we saw, he dropped behind Jesse Payne Wilkins, so I would say at this point Stefan Wessels is net race leader. So he was behind Jesse Payne Wilkins before he came into the pits, and he was able to get in the good lap times to get it past on the overcut. He's now net race leader, so it'd be interesting to see where McCluskey is going to compare to Payne Wilkins and Corey Price, as now he'll lose a lot more points to Stefan Wessels in this current scenario. Battle in the pit lane, as we mentioned earlier on in these endurance races. And that full course caution really did throw a cat amongst the pigeons with this race. It was Payne Wilkins. It wasn't looking good. But now he's fighting for a top 3 in this race. He had a nasty incident against the wall earlier on, and he's completely recovered his race here. Fantastic recovery drive. Kluski continues on. He sets a 2:04 lap time, which is at the moment fastest on the track. And Altria actually goes even quicker. With a 2:04.6. Altria looking for a top 5 here. Winner at Zandvoort feature race last time out, so he's in good form. And this is the thing, with a good top 5 placing in this race right here, it gives you a good haul of points on your rivals heading out of tonight and as we head into next week, which is the Algarve International Circuit, also known as Portimao in southern Portugal. So it's very hot in the UK right now. We're heading out of the winter here in Australia to the summer of Portugal, which is going to be very hot. Put it this way, Bathurst, yep, I'm thirsty because it's so hot and I'm going to need a bath after this, and the drivers are going to as well. I think that'll be the end of my puns related to Bathurst tonight. But let's move on swiftly. We've got... Let's check on the silver category again. Matthew Cheverton is behind by 4 seconds and he's got Sean Shute right in front of him. A flash of the lights there to say, come on, get out of the way. And he's Stephen de Gravelia there as well, a back marker just ahead. And there's narrow room to get through there. But Cheverton will lose even more time here if he's stuck behind Sean Shute. Phil McDougall will stretch away here. He's just ahead of Alan McCain there. Alan McCain is a lap behind though. And what was Alan McCain right in the thick of the action earlier on. Elwyn Sykes is in the pits, so this will drop him back behind Adam Wilson-Weir potentially. Lewin passes back by into second place. Mark Sykes hasn't pitted yet. So not only is he leading this race by a long way, he's also extending his stint. But someone who is fastest on the track in the bronze category at the moment is Adam Wilson-Weir. He sets fastest lap of the race. And that means he gets the bonus points. He's into third place right now, so that's very good for him. Oh, Stephen de Gravellia's had a nasty instant heading out of Forestry's corner there. Rear wing missing. As we head down the hill, let's see what happens to Stephen de Gravellia. Paul Williams behind him. No, the car just completely loses shape and then the wing falls off as he hits the wall and he'll have to get it back to the pits. He's going to be very unstable heading it back to the pits. Now Mark Sykes is in the pits, so is Mike Barber, so is Gaz Williams. So Mark Sykes, this will be his last stop at the race, leading the bronze category at the moment. He's got a very healthy lead to Wesley Lewin, so seeing where he heads back out onto the track. Now this would be a crucial pit stop. You don't want to mess up any of your pit options. You don't want to take on extra stuff that you don't need. You need the right amount of fuel, right amount of tyres if you need to take them on. Second place, Wesley Lewin heads down the back straight here. I believe he has pitted. Yes, he has. Just a couple of laps ago. Sykes will be leaving his box shortly. He won't need to take on too much fuel. He's still in his box, and Wesley Lewin's heading around the final corner here. This isn't looking good for Mark Sykes, actually. What's happened here? Heading out of his box now. Lewin passes by and into the lead of this race. Well, I didn't think that was going to happen, as you can tell. Don't put me as a race strategist, put it that way. Sykes leaves the pits. He's in second place here. And Wesley Lewin pitted 4 laps ago, so he's got enough to take him to the end here. He leads this race. I don't think Wesley Lewin has won a race in the Next Gen Racing GT3 Championship yet. So that's a prospect here. Adam Wilson-Weir much closer to Mark Sykes and Wesley Lewin than he has been for much of the race. However, the gap is quite big, 9.5 seconds to Sykes and then a further 6 to Wesley Lewin, so it would be quite an achievement to claw those gaps back. But we've seen what Wilson-Weir is capable of. Now, McCluskey and Wessels have ended up close together, so McCluskey has got the jump on Payne, Wilkins and Price. We were focusing on the other categories just a moment ago, and McCluskey has actually extended his stint so well and got such good lap times that he's ended up back out on the track right behind race leader Stephen Wessels and in front of Jesse Payne Wilkins and Corey Price. So, race wins on from McCluskey here. And this is what I was talking about earlier. He's so patient in the way he conducts his races. But he'll feel he doesn't need to go for this against Wessels. He might want it. You know, races be races. We all want the race wins. But he might have in his head that he doesn't really need to go for this victory right here. Because in actual fact, right now, as we alluded to earlier, he's only going to lose 3 points to Wessels as it stands. There's already a healthy lead in front of Wessels in the championship of 56 points. Puts it to 53. Very, very good spot here is McCluskey to decide what he wants to do with this race. Harry Langford is in 10th position. Which is nowhere near as many points as he probably would need out of tonight. There he is. And I think Langford, I seem to remember he was one of the drivers that just seemed to get compromised by what happened with the full course cautions earlier on. Cheverton still second position in the silver category. He's got Sean Shute and Gaz Williams between him and Phil McDougall up here, which isn't going to help. With less than half an hour left in this race, we're over the 75% mark. Phil McDougall, I don't think he's won a race in the 2 seasons I've been watching this this championship. And in the silver category, as it stands right now, he'll be only the 3rd different race winner this season. Kruger and Cheverton are the only other race winners this season so far. In the silver category, that is. And in the bronze category, as it stands, Wesley Lewin will be the 4th different winner in bronze category. Adam Wilson-Weir has won 4 races to date, Jonathan Berry 3 races, and Danny Switzer 1. And in the gold category here, Stefan Wessels has in fact won 2 races this season, both were sprint races I believe. And McCluskey only actually has 1 race win to his name so far this season. Doing a bit of an Andy Prio. Oh, as we've seen a move from Ben Altria. We haven't seen a move, we've seen Corey Price here facing the wrong way on the circuit, stranded on the outside there. This is how it happened. He's in a very dangerous spot at the top of the hill. And this is what happened. He's following Jesse Payne Wilkins. He was in 4th place at this point. And the car just spins around. Oh, there's nothing you can do as soon as it gives way. And we're seeing that corner catch out a lot of drivers tonight. And now he's turned it around and he's limping away. And that is effectively race over for Corey Price. It was a strong performance so far tonight, and considering he won the endurance round at Montreal as well, was looking good for him as well. That's completely undone his race for him. It does make Jesse Payne Wilkins a little bit safe now for 3rd place, and teammate Ben Altria is in 4th place, so full tilt. I don't think they're an official team in the team's championship this season. I don't think they are anyway, but they're doing good tonight, 3rd and 4th. The second between Stefan Wessels and Ben McCluskey. So it's going to be interesting to see what McCluskey decides to do with his racing. He's got over 25 minutes left in this race, which is going to be around about, well, I'd say around about 12 to 13 laps in this race to decide what he does with Wessels here. If Wessels can pull away, I don't think that's going to happen because McCluskey has the fastest lap of the race. But what does McCluskey do if he can catch up with Wessels? If he can catch up, that is. We've seen Wessels have great pace this season in other races. Race winner at Zandvoort last time out. Sprint race winner of the first race of the season at Misano. Slipstream there as we pass by Sami Ariba. throttle a little bit there. I don't think McCluskey's fuel saving. I think he was just doing that as a conservative way of entering the corner. Very interesting watching these drivers go through the circuit. And McCluskey's got such conservative racing lines here. He's not taking too much to the curbs here. Just easing the car through the corners. He's very comfortable with the car underneath him. Driving the Ferrari last season as well, and the Ferrari now is considered not the optimal car. In fact, only one driver in the field drives the Ferrari now, and it's Nigel Stock, whereas the Ferrari last season was one of the more popular cars. Now, the majority of the field have gone to the Porsche and the Mustang. Quite a lot of drivers in the McLaren as well, and that's just what happens on iRacing. It shifts around between the cars. Sometimes the newer cars are the best cars to go for, like the Mustang, like the McLaren. But in actual fact, the Acura is the newest car, but not widely chosen. In fact, there's only one driver, excuse me, in this field with the Acura, and that's Sean Shute. I believe the only car that's not represented in the field at the moment is the Chevrolet, which is a bit of a shame because it's a quite nice and sounding and looking car. But from what we heard from drivers last season, it was a bit of a handful. Now, look how much closer McCluskey is this time around to last time. Well, we didn't have such a good exit from the S's there. It dipped into the dip quite badly, and it understeered him off a little bit, and he had to back off. But he was within half a second of Stefan Wessels for just a moment there. 0.6 of a second within him here. So he is gaining. They're all on their own here, so straight up between the two of them. Penwoken still in third place. I'm just hearing in my ears, actually. It's quite a shame, actually, but Corey Price, yep, Corey Price has retired from this race. That's such a shame.
Drive-through penalty, car 333 for driving for track limits.
Stein Vatens, another drive-through penalty for him. From the one that happened at the start, speeding in the pit lane. Bad to worse for Stein Vatens in this race. There's another one to serve for him. Now McCluskey is close to Wessels, 0.3 of a second. This is going to be an interesting battle to the end, I think, between these drivers. You can tell McCluskey is keen to get up close to Wessels. Now, what will he decide? Will he sit behind Wessels till the end of the race? Or will he pick his move earlier? Now, the racer in me would go for the move as soon as possible. But that's not what McCluskey is like, I tend to find. I did wonder about Ben McCluskey at the start of the season if his pace was going to be enough on his rivals here. Now, Lucas Seedorf doesn't seem to be taking part anymore, which is a big shame, really. But him and McCluskey were extremely close. I did wonder if the drives around McCluskey were much stronger this season than last season. And he started off the season a little bit on the back foot, but right now it's looking really good for Ben McCluskey in the championship. If he can get a race win here, that will be one nail in the coffin, I would say. With 4 races to go after this, or 4 rounds to go after this. But after tonight, there will be... Oh, here we go. Here we go. He's looking around. Not going to go to the inside at the chase. Wessels guards it. Wessels is presumably going to guard the inside for the next corner here. He does, but he's able to get back on the racing line. This could well be a 20-minute battle to the end of the race. Both drivers quickest up the field at the moment. A little bit of slipstream for Wessels is going to help up ahead there. That's Adam Wilson-Weir, 3rd place in the bronze category, who pulls out of the way. Well out of the way, actually. Guarding inside is Wessels. McCluskey's not able to get alongside into this corner. It A good exit there, though. He's going to look right. Going to take to the outside here. I thought he was going to try the up and under there, but nope, not quite. It might be another lap here that McCluskey has to sit behind Wessels. No drivers in front of them. Nothing to worry about there. You are consciously worried heading over the mountain here of drivers who might be labouring on the side of the track up here, so it's so hard to avoid other drivers here that are running slow on the side. We've seen a couple of incidents like that tonight. We've got the track map here to help us out with that. We've got the top 3 in the bronze category. Not too far apart, actually. We're going to see if Mark Sykes can respond in this battle for bronze category win. Now, I had him hands down as the winner of this race a moment ago, but it shows how much of a curse the commentators have. But he's now 5 seconds trailing Wesley Lewin. On that last lap, Mark Sykes was a 10th quicker. Here we go. McCluskey back to the outside of Wessels. Same as what we saw on the previous lap. Going to get a big undercut here. Going to take to the outside as we head down to Murray's corner. He is alongside this time. He does brake a little bit later and he's able to keep it round the outside. But Wessels will have the inside for the next corner. Will McCluskey be able to hang on to it? They're so close heading down the front straight here. Now they've got another 90-degree left hand and through he goes. On the straight, he secures it. McCluskey leads the race here. Now, how will Wessels respond to this? Up the main straight we go. You know what? I got a feeling that Mustang is severely good on the straights here at Bathurst. Where the Porsche has it in the corners, the Mustang presumably makes up for it on the straights. Later on the brakes there was Wessels. Let's see if he can respond, or will McCluskey just extend this out. What a race this has been for McCluskey. I would not have had him down as race winner about half an hour ago, truthfully. But he's really proven me wrong here. Hopefully we get to speak to him after. But yeah, what a race this has been to get himself into the lead. And now he's extending that lead. He's up to 8 tenths already. Last season's champion, number 1 on his door, now has the number 1 on his digital dash on the window there. And his previous race win came... where was his previous race win? Just trying to dig into the back of my memory here. I think it was Watkins Glen. I think it was the sprint race at Watkins Glen was his last and only win. Oh no, it's the feature race, I think, at Watkins Glen. He finished 2nd in the Montreal Endurance, which was round 3. But this will be win number 2 of the season as it stands. He will equal the amount of wins that Wessels and Lucas Seedor have racked up so far this season in gold category. That last lap was extremely quick for McCluskey compared to Wessels. This would be the lap to compare, but let's just switch over to other battles that are on the circuit. Now Mark Sykes has dropped that gap, which was a lap or 2 ago of 5 seconds, now down to less than 3.5 seconds. So Wesley Lewin, he hasn't had any incidents from what I can see, but he's losing time to Mark Sykes. There he is. And Adam Wilson-Weir is a further 9 seconds back. That last lap for Mark Sykes, he was nearly 2 seconds quicker than Wesley Lewin. As you can see there, 1.8 seconds difference. So let's see if that continues. Definitely no instance on the screen for Wesley Lewin. He might have just had a bad entry to a corner, bad exit from a corner. He's following Jamie Dory is Wesley Lewin. Jamie Dory's just up ahead here. Maybe a little bit of a slipstream help for Wesley Lewin. it's creeping towards 3 seconds between Wesley Lewin and Mark Sykes. And now we've got the final 15 minutes of this race. There's Sykes emerging through the fog. For this emerging battle in the bronze category potentially, as Jamie Dory is in the pits for another unscheduled pit stop. It was looking alright at the start of the race for Jamie Dory, but two incidents for him have really compromised his race, which is really unfortunate. Or below 3 seconds between Sykes and Lewin. That last lap, Sykes was half a second quicker. I don't think I've seen Mark Sykes win a race in the GT3s yet. Maybe one came in Season 5, but I'll be really digging into the restricted section of my brain there. 2.5 seconds, less than 2.5 seconds between Lewin and Sykes. Sykes is cooking here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he gets close to the wall, that's how much he's pushing. He wants this victory. He feels... he brushed against the wall again there as well. He's desperately pushing. He wants this victory. He probably feels he should have had it earlier on leading the race. But Wesley Lewin has pitted at the right points in this race. And it's worth mentioning, actually, also at this point, that Wesley Lewin is the person that's gained the most overall positions in this race. He's gained 20 places overall, so it would have been a start position of around 25th to 15th overall where he is now. The driver that's gained the most places within their own category is Danny Switzer, apparently, of 10 places. Not sure if that's true, actually. It might be a little bit of a mistake in the timing screen I've got. But yeah, we'll focus on the overall positions. Wesley Lewin, 20 places gained, and Adam Wilson-Weir, 19 places gained. So, bronze category drivers doing very well, it seems. We've had a fair few retirements, actually, in this race. I think Simon Hunt has retired from this race. Stephen de Gravelia, Sammy Ariba. Actually, I think Sammy Ariba's still going. I think there are drivers that are still going, but actual retirements from this race, excuse me, are Corey Price and George Stone, but there's drivers that are multiple laps down or more. Still 2.5 seconds between these two drivers. The last lap of the race, just then, Adam Wilson-Weir sets the fastest lap in the category. So all three of these drivers in the bronze category are really head down trying to catch one another. But that last lap, another half a second for Sykes in his favour. But this lap, I don't think is quite working out for Mark Sykes. It seems to be at this point of the track he is gaining his time on Wesley Lewin. But also Adam Wilson-Weir is really putting in the shift as well. He's dropped the gap between him and Sykes to nearly, now less than 8 seconds. But with 10 minutes to go, maybe an additional lap, there's not much time to catch up. Not this distance, anyway. But Sykes definitely does have the opportunity to catch Wesley Lewin. I think this lap has actually been a good lap from Wesley. Let's see what the times are when they come through this time around. Only a 10th between them, but still a 10th in the favour of Mark Sykes. Let's see what Wilson-Weir gets. Half a second quicker than Mark Sykes that last time around. It's been 8 seconds between Wilson-Weir and Sykes. Gold category, McCluskey still extends that lead from Wessels. Quicker on the last lap as well by a 10th. And in the silver category, McDougall is extending that gap to Cheverton. So McDougall is looking on course to get his first win in category. And he's had to fight for that as well. He's had to really tussle with the likes of Alan McCain and Nigel Stock, Cheverton and Kruger. And around after the race, ladies and gentlemen, we will have interviews with hopefully all our victors. And our victor of the bronze category, as yet unknown. Mark Sykes seems to have, not literally, but he seems to have hit a little bit of a wall here, in that he can't gain much more time on Wesley Lewin right now. But for Next Gen, one of them is hunting for a victory. One of them has hunted already for a victory and is on course to get it. Oh. Not sure what that was all about, but yeah, McCluskey on course for another race win here, with Stefan Wessels in second place. It's been a very strong night for Jesse Payne-Wilkins. A great recovery drive from what was looking like a disaster earlier. Back end against the wall. Heavy damage to the car due to an incident. This is a great recovery drive for Jesse Payne-Wilkins for third place as it stands. Phil McDougall in first position. He's got Harry Langford lurking around in here, but he's got quite a significant gap of around 5 seconds to Matthew Cheverton, who will claw back some points to Jeffrey Kruger, who had an incident earlier on and that dropped him back a lot of time, but he didn't lose any positions, which he'll be thankful of. But he loses a few points to Cheverton as a result. Wesley leads the bronze category at the moment. Maybe his first win in category, so it's a first time for two drivers tonight as it stands. Mark Sykes in second place, just over 2 seconds behind Lewin. And championship leader Adam Wilson-Weir will, weirdly enough, extend his championship lead following tonight. A 60-point lead in the championship he had heading into tonight from one of the other drivers in the bronze category, but still a 60-point plus lead that's going to be extended after tonight. Truly something that could lead on to him winning the championship early this season, the way this is going. Wesley Lewin is in fact the driver. He was in second position, so he's not going to extend his championship lead. Do pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, Wesley Lewin will claw back some points, but about 8 points, I believe it is, due to Wilson-Weir's bonus points he'll get for fastest lap. But still, between Sykes and Lewin, it's still above 2 seconds. 6 minutes to go. Maybe about 3 or 4 laps remaining in this race. We saw just a few laps ago, Sykes was really pushing it, getting close to the walls. We had a few laps where he gained around about 4 seconds on Lewin. Yeah, just looking to the comments. Whiskey Runners Racing, of course you are based in this region. Yep, it's cold there. Yep. Oh well, never mind. We've got the nice heat here in Britain at the moment. And the heat next week will come, hopefully, as we are venturing down to South Portugal, or over to South Portugal, shall we say, for the Algarve International Circuit, also known as Portimao, for round 7 of the championship. We saw this track feature in Season 5, was the last time it featured, and that was when we had the prototypes. It was fabulous watching those prototypes hurtling their way around Portimao, and at the time it was a fairly new track to iRacing, but we're returning there for next week We'll be live on YouTube, Facebook and Kick as usual on the Thursday nights from 7:40 UK time. I don't know what that is in Aussie time, Whiskey Runners, but you're about 10 hours ahead, I believe. But yep, tune in next week for that round. If you are watching on YouTube, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do give the video a like as well, as it does help the YouTube algorithm and it helps Next Gen Racing grow more and more. And of course, Next Gen Racing bigger than it's ever been right now with the Next Gen Touring Car Series, Next Gen Touring Car Championship, should I say, now hosting 2 servers, of which the second one I'm broadcasting on Tuesday nights, and the first one, business as usual, with Paul Walsh presenting that. One of the biggest grids in British sim touring car racing at the moment. And this GT3 League growing ever more as well. It's a great time to be involved in Next Gen Racing. There is a link to our Discord in the description if you're not a member of the Next Gen Racing community yet. You can either join as a fan or you can join as a wannabe driver in this series. Now, we've just seen a swap of positions. Well, we haven't seen, but in the standings, John Berry and Danny Switzer have swapped positions here. Here's how it was done. Switzer washing off a little bit wide there, recovering there as we head down into Forest Corner. Dive into the inside, forcing Switzer wide there. Not through contact. John Berry gets it into 5th place. In fact, I think it's swapped back now between the two. Yeah, it has. And that's Phil McDougall to the inside, lapping John Berry. John Berry going to try and get 4th place here, because 4th place will help him in the point standings. Oh, Switzer's gone a bit shallow into turn number 1 there. A good exit here from John Berry is what he needs. He's looking good through the corner, but the exit of the corner hasn't quite turned out that way for John Berry. That's Alan McCain behind as well. He will be trying to get in front for position, but not in category, so it won't help points-wise. This is a battle for position between Switzer and Berry. 4th place in the bronze category. We'll come back to this. Oh, as that was Alan McCain passing by. So John Berry bogged down a little bit in the hairpin there. We'll see if this materialises a little bit later on. We have got a swap of positions here. Jesse Payne Wilkins is limping here. Something's happened to him. And that will lose 3rd place for him. And Ben Altria moves into the top 3 here. It's the it's McPhillamy corner again. Oh, as he goes wide, and that low Lamborghini smashes into the wall. That is going to be a big loss of positions. He'll have to take that back to the pits. And look at that car. It's crabbing now as he's going to ease it back to the pits. And what a great recovery drive it's been in this race for Jesse Payne Wilkinson. In the final few minutes of the race, it's come undone. Yep, he is going to... he's crabbing into the pits there. This is not a healthy looking Lamborghini. KSI's Lamborghini might have looked a bit similar to that at one point, but yeah, that's such a shame to Jesse Payne Wilkins' race. He worked so well throughout the race. Now, I don't think we're on the last lap. We haven't been shown the white flag on our display there. Yeah, we are being shown the white flag, actually. Excuse me. So this is the final lap of the race. What a race this has been for McCluskey. It always seems with McCluskey in these endurance races that he doesn't look like he's going to be the winner in these endurance races, but he always turns it around. He's so patient in the way he gets past drivers in a long, long race here. And this could well be a pivotal moment in the championship where already championship leader McCluskey puts one hand closer to that trophy with a good result tonight. It just seems that he just seems to never have a bad night. Touch wood. This is another good night for Ben McCluskey. Number 1 on his door, and he'll be a number 1 trophy heading out tonight. Final few corners for the Northern Irishman. One final corner. He's already celebrating. That one must feel good to him. There we go. Ben McCluskey is your endurance winner for round 6 here at Bathurst. Brilliant, brilliant victory for him. And Stefan Wessel's a strong second place for him there. He too had to come through the pack from near the back. And now third place. It was looking like another Full Tilt driver that was going to come through in third place. But it's Ben Altria coming off the back of a splendid race win in the feature race last time out at Zandvoort. He gets another podium here tonight. And that'll be extremely helpful for his championship. Now, silver category. This will be the first time we see in the last few seasons Phil McDougall coming through as a silver category winner. CXR Project Black car will take the first place silverware tonight. There's a little bit of an incident earlier on that I'll put a question mark over it as he kicks up the daisies there, come across the line on the grass. It's a win for McDougall in the silver category. Matthew Cheverton will cross the line in second position and will get a little bit closer to the championship leader, Jeffrey Kruger, who with an incident earlier on fell back in the order, well, fell back in time-wise. But he will come through in third place with a car that's limping. He may have had another incident that we haven't seen, but he's limping to the line here in third place. But this bronze category battle got closer. 3 seconds between each of these drivers in the top 3 as they come across the line after such a hectic race. And the bronze category really did change ways with the full course caution earlier. But it's Wesley Lewin who's going to come through for his first race win of the season. Bronze category winner Wesley Lewin. And second place, a strong race for Mark Sykes and Adam Wilson-Weir. Good points for him in the championship tonight. Will continue to lead by a big margin out of tonight.
Penalty for car 25 for not serving a slowdown correctly before the finish line.
Oh no.
The penalty will be added to the race time.
Oh no, that's Elwyn Sykes that is. So it was looking alright for Elwyn Sykes earlier on, and a penalty after the race. Not serving a slowdown correctly. Oh dear.
Penalty for car 096 for track limits. Again, this penalty cannot be served during the race. It'll be added to the race time.
That's John Berry, 5th position. That might not keep him in the same place of 5th position, so that's really going to be bad news for John Berry. But for track limits, the drama continues even on the cool-down lap for a lot of these drivers. But I normally don't mention it, but driver of the day performance for Ben McCluskey there. From 12th in category to the top spots. And it's incredibly difficult to make up the time in these endurance races. When you start so far back, in an instant, it drops you back so much time, those start of the races here in these endurances. And clawing that back is incredibly difficult. We're just negotiating the traffic, the pit stops as well. So from McCluskey and Wessels, brilliant clinical races from them tonight. Okay, so we are going to go to the race results for tonight. And then we'll head over to the interviews. And there's a little bit of a problem with our standings here, but we can go through them anyway. In the gold category, Ben McCluskey takes victory in this endurance race tonight. From the back of the grid in the gold category to the front. Maximum points for him, plus the bonus points in the fastest lap as well. Stefan Wessels takes 2nd position, with Ben Altria rounding off the podium. Jack Pittas, top 5 in the championship heading into tonight, and that'll certainly maintain his top 5 in the championship. Good, strong performance from him tonight. Just ahead of Mike Barber, making it a good Quatermass performance in the end in this gold category. Gaz Williams in 6th position, followed by Harry Langford in 7th position, and Phil McDougall Jesse Payne-Wilkins in 8th position. Ben Bennyworth 9th, and rounding off the top 10 will be Sean Shute. And Jamie Dorian 11th, and a non-finish for Corey Price. Silver category. And the first time win for Phil McDougall in first place there, with Matthew Cheverton in second place, just 6 seconds down. Couldn't quite contend with Phil McDougall in the end at this track, but a strong result for Cheverton, who gets a little bit closer to championship leader, who finished third place tonight, Jeffrey Kruger. Matthew Addy, third in the championship heading into tonight, is fourth place tonight on the road. And then a lap or more down were Nigel Stock in fifth, Yopi Siemens in 6th position, Jason Raff in 7th, Paul Williams in 8th, and Alan McCain a disappointing 9th for himself, and a DNF for George Stone. Bronze category now, and it's a first time win for Wesley Lewin in the CSA Team Izzet car. Mark Sykes fought for victory, but second place for him in the end, and championship leader Adam Wilson-Weir finishes third place. A lap or more down, fourth place was Danny Switzer, followed by Rob Savage in 5th. Jonathan Berry is 6th position, followed by Elwyn Sykes with a post-race penalty incoming, so that position may change. 7th for him for the moment. Simon Hunt in 8th position, and it's worth mentioning that John Berry also has a post-race penalty. That will be applied after the race. 6th may change for him. But Simon Hunt in 8th position, Stephen de Gravelia in 9th, Andy Rooney in 10th. Sammy Ariba, 11th position, with Stein Vaiten's 2 drive-through penalties for him during the race, is 12th. Michael Evangeli in 13th, and Andy Chell in 14th. So a little bit of an issue with the standings there. The colour's not quite working there. We'll fix it for next week. But they are your standings heading out of tonight. So let's see if we've got any interviews lined up. Now, there's no one waiting in the interview waiting room right now, but what we're going to do is go back to the start of the race and just look at the start of the race. Let's take a look at McCluskey's start, and you can just see how patient McCluskey is with... that hasn't gone back to the start of the race. We'll try again. Go. So hopefully we get to chat to some drivers. There we go. We'll just take a look at McCluskey there. Gaining position at the start there, but he doesn't panic too much about passing drivers. He just kind of lets it all happen at the start of these races. On the inside of another Quatermass driver, I can't quite tell which one. He's following Wessels through here, and Wessels ended up not too far apart in the end. When it came to the race end. And it was, in fact, the last pit stop that really did it for McCluskey and Wessels. They extended their stint and was able to get them back in front. So the overcut was, in fact, quite effective here for those two drivers anyway, who were able to put in real good lap times, particularly at the end of the stint when the tank is empty and the tyres are still performing real good. Okay, so we're going to have our first interview of the night. Hopefully we'll have more than one. I imagine there's a couple of hot and bothered drivers tonight, probably a few frustrated drivers, drivers being shy as well. But we'll start off our interviews tonight by talking to John Berry, who provisionally finished 5th tonight, but a post-race penalty incoming. But first of all, John, can you hear us?
Yes, mate, I can. Can you hear me?
Excellent, thank you very much. So, John, not quite the night you would have wanted tonight. 5th place on the road at the moment. Just kind of talk us through the events of your race that happened in the last 2 hours.
Well, I think Mount Panorama will be getting an email complaint about moving walls. Is, I think, how I went. Yeah, they were definitely moving. Could have been pixels, but it was definitely moving inwards. No, it wasn't bad. I got off to a decent start. I didn't have any problems to begin with. Fatigue started to set in. It's quite hot in my room at the minute, so I'm going to put it down to a bit of temperature. It just... Danny Switzer, great battle, mate. Absolutely loved every second of it. Good, hard battling, and look forward to more with you, mate. That's really, really good. Just overall, I don't think it was brilliant for a lot of us. Very difficult to let people through here. Very difficult to, make substantial moves quickly. But the BMW tow, crazy.
As in good, yeah?
Yeah. When we were in practice, I put 0.4 or 0.6 on one of the Porsches in a practice, so I had a good exit out onto the back straight. Yeah, great, unreal, but just sadly the walls kept moving for me.
Sure they did. Was there a key incident in that race that really compromised you, apart from the penalties coming after the race? There's a lot that happened in that race, so excuse me for not remembering.
No, lots of wall taps. The final chicane on the final lap is the incident that got me the penalty. I'm not sure if you can fast forward onto that and have a look, but it was with Danny Switzer. And it was just avoiding contact and an off track. I had one left on the last lap, and it came down to the final 3 corners, and that's when I got it. Just really unlucky that I just had to cross the line with it. Otherwise, I probably should have done it.
Okay, so I think we're watching it now. So Danny Switzer gets by. We're heading towards the chicane. You go to his outside here. Outbrake him. Get your nose in front. A little bit of contact, yep, and that sends you off. So that would have been what had done it, yeah?
Yeah, that's exactly what's done it. I mean, it's difficult to get. I've let him pass because the incident before with 2 other drivers crashed at the top of the hill. I'd let him back through because I'd got past after the incident, and then it just sort of like pushed me off with a little room. It's a racing incident, but I think a post-race drop would be quite harsh. But I've run out of incident points, so I have to hold it, basically take it on the chin and move along with it. And then you've got Rob behind me, so I should technically drop that. But yeah, hopefully they'll be nice to me.
We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see. Okay, so not so many walls at Algarve next week at Portimao. In fact, you have to. You need a cartographer to find the walls at Algarve. They're so far away. But how's that track for yourself?
I don't mind it, actually. I've run it a few times in F4, so I know the track, but again, it's just one of those ones that I'm going to have to learn in the M4. I am looking forward to Silverstone, race there in real life, so I do know it, and I know it well. I'm not so looking forward to Canadian Tire. That one we ran in NXTCC, and that was very tight all the way through. So put bigger cars on that circuit, and it's going to be carnage. So looking forward to that one. And then I've never driven Le Mans, so we'll see how that goes.
Never?
Sorry, I know I've just done your track rundown. I'm very sorry, but I just thought I'd give you a rundown.
That's all right. You're doing my job for me. It's nice. So you never driven Le Mans?
No, never driven Le Mans. I mean, if you count Forza Motorsport as driving Le Mans.
Yeah, that'll do.
I mean, but I haven't driven it in any form of, actual serious capacity. So, right, yeah. And I don't actually own it on iRacing yet.
Oh my.
There is another purchase. So
my favourite track. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, wow, that's interesting to know. Okay, so yeah, Algarve next week, a bit of a roller coaster. Looking forward to that indeed. What about the championship situation heading into tonight? It's I think we have a refresh actually on the championship results. So you're 4th heading out of tonight. You've managed to stretch ahead of Stein Vatens, Mark Sykes, Elwyn Sykes and Simon Hunt, but there's a bit of a gap now to Rob Savage. You've got a missed round under your belt, but the drop rounds might help you later on.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I have a small inkling that I have raised. As of yesterday, I had 35 points at Canada, which left me at 105 points, but now I have 15.
I did wonder that yesterday, actually.
Yeah, because yesterday I was second in the table, but then I jumped down to 7th today. So I have inquired about it. It is being looked into kindly. So hopefully I should be. I really hope I should be higher.
Yeah.
I mean, even if Rob and Wesley are still in front of me, I still should have. What was that? I should be where I am, but just more points.
Yeah. By the looks of it, yeah. So, Adam Wilson-Weir, I mean, it's not impossible to catch him up, but is your sights maybe set on second place in this championship at this point?
Yeah, catching Adam is, I think, the word I think you might have been looking for was optimistic. Yeah, I reckon I could catch Wesley. Obviously, I believe he's just come down from silver. So it'll be nice to have someone up there that, might put a bit more of a challenge on for me. I know that's going to sound brutal for everybody else. I'm very sorry, everybody else. But, it's more competition just to get in my way. It's someone there that's going to be another body that I need to get past and get past quickly. So, yeah, he's a solid contender coming from silver.
Absolutely. Okay, floor is yours now, John. Give a shout out to anyone who might be watching.
Mission R boys, well done tonight. Very proud of all the time and effort you've put in. Next Gen, thank you for another lovely round of carnage. We love it. Moving walls. But yeah, that's it tonight. Just thank you to Maud, Stubby, and Capture Athletics for the sponsorships. And yeah, thank you very much, and thank you to you for your commentary.
No problem at all. Well, thank you for joining us in the comms booth tonight, John. Don't be a stranger, and good luck next week at Portimao.
Cheers, Alex. Much appreciated.
There we go. So, a 5th place at the moment for John Berry. It might be a drop in positions and points heading out of tonight, but there is a little bit of a slight defect, I think, in the points standing. So, I think John Berry will be closer to I was going to say tooth and 3rd, 2nd and 3rd in the championship, and maybe a bit closer to 1 if I mean 1st. But we're going to move on to our next interview of the night. Now, the start of the race for this driver looked okay, looked in contention, but it hasn't quite gone that way with a couple of incidents that happened later on in the race. So Nigel Stuck joins us in the comms booth, one of my drivers. Nigel, can you hear me, mate?
Yeah, I can. You hear me?
Yeah, all good. So, Nigel, not such a good night for you. Just talk us through your night.
Well, what's new? But, yeah, a little disappointing, but, my luck. So, same old. But, I mean, I can take away that I only got a 1x from the whole 2 hours, so I suppose that's something. I was in the wall at one point as well, so
Yeah.
running out of fuel can help these things happen. So
when did that happen then, running out of fuel?
Well, I think the 2 guys in front of me, the big Philby dude, was Cheverton, I think it was, they pitted, and then literally just as I went past the pits, because I had about just a lap over, just over a lap of fuel, I think it was 1.2. The safety car thing, the yellow flag thing came out, so then as I was going around, I noticed my fuel was going down pretty quick, and then by the time it got going again, it was I couldn't make it back to the pit, so I had to, I got literally into the pit lane and then I had to turn, so that sort of killed it. I probably would have got a podium if I hadn't done that. Oh well, things happen.
Well, sadly they do. So, yeah, unfortunately you've missed out there. Like the championship's not looking so hopeful at this point, but what are the targets for the rest of the season for yourself?
Just trying to focus on top 5, really try and see if I can finish in the top 5 overall. Hopefully try and get a podium as well, because I should have had one then. But once again, run out of fuel, you're going to have to start paying the people in the pits a bit more to get some more fuel so they can put it in my car instead of running out. I know the petrol prices are getting a bit expensive, so maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, Crest Autosport mechanics pulling the hose too early, maybe.
You have to sack him.
I'll have words with them after, Nige, yeah? How about that?
Good. No, just sack him.
That's not what happens here, ladies and gentlemen, just to disclose that. But yeah, anyway, moving swiftly on. Portimao is next week, Nige. You raced at this track 2 seasons ago in the GT3s, whilst it was a prototype and GT3 championship. What are your kind of memories from that track, and is it a track you're looking forward to heading back to?
Well, it's a roller coaster, isn't it? I'm not the biggest fan of roller coasters. But it's not a bad track. I mean, it's more of a bike track, I would say. But I think the Porsche would be pretty strong now. And stuff. I don't know if the Ferrari being good. I don't know if they'll have its traction problems again. They just can't get the power down, especially out the head. It's sort of a bit of a problem with that. But it's better in the fast courses, which I think some of the Porsche are struggling tonight with, because obviously quite a few fast courses I've saw a few spin tonight. So I don't know if that will be a problem at Portimao, but hopefully just try and just keep going here. Just try and finish tyres if I can, and see where we are at Le Mans.
Yeah, and you've got your home track after it. I mean, both me and you live not too far away from each other and live not too far from Silverstone. Is that around you're probably looking forward to more?
Yeah, and I think the Ferrari will do there. I think it'll go well there. And if I don't get the podium there, then I'd be very disappointed, to be honest. So I think we'll definitely get at least one podium there, not two.
There we go. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Right, let's see how you get on in them rounds.
I put pressure on that.
I try
pressure on myself.
Yeah, I'll have words on myself. Okay, so the floor is yours, Nige. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh well, thanks to Steve for being my teammate, and yourself for letting me be in the team. As anyone else impressed. Thanks to NXTGEN for hosting the league. And, any sponsors in that as well, NXTGEN and well, most of all, thanks for you for doing the stream as well, as you're quite good at it.
No problem at all. Thank you, Nige. Unlucky about tonight, mate. We'll get the team testing and we'll practice our pit stops next time. But good luck Portimao next week.
Thanks. See you.
Speak soon. Okay, there we go, Nigel Stock. Top 5 in the N4, Nigel. It's not what he wants to go for. He wants to go for top 3s, as he mentioned. But top 5 is still a fairly decent result, I would say. Given the drama that he had in that race. He had a nasty incident in that race where he was against the wall. He also ran out of fuel. So considering that, 5th is good. 5th is actually really good. Okay, I don't think we have got any more interviews, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. We have not been able to talk to any of the race winners, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, if I'm being honest. We'll see if we can change that for next time, because we want to give you the insights from the drivers at the top of the field as well, not just drivers that volunteer for the interviews. It's good chatting to them to find out what's happened in their race, but we also want to hear from the victors as well, like we would in real life. But we'll see what we can do for next time. But we are going to break away now to our championship standings heading out of tonight. They get updated live on the go for these races when we have our points specialist Paul Williams helping us out. But here we go. The points heading out of tonight. Gold category, Benjamin McCluskey will extend his championship lead to 63 points. That's more than, well, that's a long way clear actually in the championship. So he's looking good for another championship, is Benjamin McCluskey. He leads from Stefan Wessels, who steps up to second place. So now it's really getting ticking for Stefan Wessels with a disappointing start to the season. We had a couple of wins, but a couple of DNFs. It's now picking up now. He's into second place. 5 points clear of Harry Langford, who didn't have his best night, unfortunately, tonight. Dropped a lot of points. Not his lowest scoring round in the season, which was Snetterton, which will not be a drop round, but Misano it means it was a disappointing night for him. Jack Pittas jumps into 4th place with Lucas Cedar not taking part at the moment. He jumps into 4th place with a strong, consistent season and actually his best haul of points tonight of any of the rounds. And Ben Altria, his best performance tonight in terms of points, came off the back of a win at Zandvoort, and a 3rd place here puts him 5th place in the standings heading out of tonight. Mike Barber in 6th place, followed by Gaz Williams. Lucas Cedo, who hasn't taken part in the last 2 rounds, is in 8th. Jesse Payne-Wilkins in 9th position, and Jamie Dory in 10th. Silver category, and still holding the lead in the championship for Jeffrey Kruger, but it is a 2-point gap at the top of the standings, as we mentioned earlier on, between Kruger and Cheverton heading out of this round. They're quite a way clear of Matthew Addy. In fact, they're clear by just over 40 points from Matthew Addy, who takes up 3rd place. He's 18 points clear of tonight's race winner, Phil McDougall, who takes 4th place from Alan McCain, who falls to 5th place, and he's just 2 points ahead of Nigel Stock in 6th position. Jason Raff is 7th, followed by Paul Williams in 8th, Mark Baker in 9th, and George Stone in 10th. Bronze category now, and in it's not an extension of the lead, but still a very healthy lead in the championship for Adam Wilson-Weir of 62 points. Yes, 62 points from Wesley Lewin in 2nd position. And Wesley Lewin was our race winner tonight, to remind you. Rob Savage in 3rd position, followed by Jonathan Berry in 4th. Stein Vatens, a disappointing night for him, is 5th, with Mark Sykes, a good night for him, leaps up to 6th place. Elwyn Sykes in 7th, and Simon Hunt in 8th. Gabriel Papaconstantino did not take part tonight, but is 9th. And Danny Switzer, who's very much a part-timer at the moment in the series, is 10th. And the team's championship. CSA Team Woza take the lead in the championship, so our first change in the top 5 all through the season, and it's a great round for CSA. With Mission R missing one of their lead drivers, that puts CSA Team Woza in the top position by 14 points, piloted by Stefan Wessels, who finished 2nd tonight in golds, 3rd tonight for Jeffrey Kruger. They're without Carl Oostason at the moment, but they've got 2 high-scoring drivers in their team still. Mission R, Adam Wilson-Weir is carrying the team at the moment. George Stone not getting the results he needs to help the team up, but they're still 2nd. Aztec Ford Mustang, Matthew Cheverton was the only representative of them tonight, but 3rd place for them still, with Quatermass Motorsport 1 and 2 are 4th and 5th. That's the championship results heading out of tonight. And just a reminder of the results of this race as we finish off our live stream tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It was a win in the gold category for Ben McCluskey, 2nd place to Steph Wessels, and Ben Altria in 3rd place. Silver category winner was Phil McDougall and Matthew Cheverton 2nd, and Jeffrey Kruger in 3rd. And in bronze category, and actually we are going to go to another interview, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we'll go for another interview now, ladies and gentlemen. We have got Wesley Lewin in the interview waiting room for us. A little bit late, but we'll interview him anyway. Wesley is joining us in the comms booth now as we got the race results in front of us. Our race winner in the bronze category with us to chat to us now. So, Wesley, first of all, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent, great stuff. Well, first of all, Wesley, congratulations on, for me, what I've seen is your first win in bronze category in this series. First of all, just tell us how you're feeling and how your race went.
Race went better than expected. You're definitely right there. It's my first win in 3 seasons, I think, with NXTGEN, and definitely the first in bronze. Was aiming for, I'd say realistically, given the pace of the other guys, the 3rd place. And yeah, I just managed myself very well and sort of stayed out of trouble and got the result. So very happy with that.
Excellent stuff. So with the 2nd pit stop, that was the moment that really turned the race for you. Did the race fall into your favour with the 4-course caution coming out earlier on in the race?
I would definitely say that I had a bit of a coming together with Alan McCain at the top of the mountain on my in-lap. And as I got onto Conrod, I hit the full course yellow, and my car was bent badly, and that just played in my favor, and I put it on that lap, and it was as if it never happened. So that really sort of negated that incident. And then my second one was a bit of a toss-up. Do I go, don't I go, stick it out for another lap? And I just decided, let's just go flat and run the fuel out, do a hot in lap and put it, and it just, yeah, the rest is history. It just worked out well.
Yeah, absolutely. And after your second stop, the time between you and Mark Sykes, it came down to as close as I'd say 2 seconds, and then at the race end it opened up to 3. Were you feeling a little bit worried about Mark Sykes at any point, or did you feel you had it under control?
Oof, no, I was worried. I need to go shower actually. But I was watching the deltas, and I could see, okay, cool, I need to do a little bit of management here, and I'd say I have to think that Mark made a bit of a mistake at the top of the mountain on one lap, and that just gave me 2 seconds again, and from there on I was just in crisis management. I was watching Adam's delta as well, and he was hunting us down like crazy. So yeah, it was really crisis management in that moment.
Excellent stuff. Good insight into your race win there, so thank you very much for that. Now, next week we have got Portimao. How's that track for yourself? Is it one you're looking forward to?
I can't say I have too much experience on it, but I always enjoy learning a new track and finding pace. And given the current position in the championship, at this point, will just leapfrog me to second place overall. So I'm more determined now to find good pace, because my season is coming back to me. I was aiming for a good season, but certain incidences in the first few races sort of sabotage that for me a bit, and I'm happy to be where I'm at. So yeah, quite determined to stay there.
Absolutely. Now, we spoke to Jonathan Berry not too long ago, so potentially a good battle between you and him, and maybe other drivers for second in the championship. But you're feeling confident at the moment, you said.
I am. I'm highly doubtful I'll get anything on Adam. He's just on fire. So yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be the fight for second and third. That's the fight for me right now. First would be obviously first prize, but yeah, it would be unrealistic for me to expect that.
Yeah, understood. Okay, well, Wesley, thank you very much for joining us tonight in the interview box. You got the floor now to give a shout out to anyone that might be watching.
Hey, I think I'd just send it out to my teammates, Team CSA. I think we got fairly decent results tonight as a team. So yeah, let the fight carry on for the rest of the season, guys. Cheers.
Excellent stuff. And we just witnessed your spin at the top of the mountain as you said that, and you still won the win despite that. Still got the win despite that. So big congratulations tonight on your win, Wesley. Enjoy it, and we'll see you next time at Portimao.
Thanks a lot, man. Cheers, guys.
There we go. And a big thanks should go to Wesley, actually, for joining us as a race winner in the comms booth then. Really appreciate it. Okay, so we are going to wrap it up now, ladies and gentlemen. That has been round 6 of the championship here at Bathurst for the GT3 League. This is Next Gen Racing Season 7 of the GT3s on Thursday nights. A big shout out to our partners, sponsors and affiliates here at Next Gen Racing that include PowerMax, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC and Doble Motorcycles. This has been round 6 of the championship here at Bathurst. Next week we're at the Algarve International Circuit of Portimao. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time. Back to the sprint race and feature race format next week, but congratulations to our winners in each category again tonight. Ben McCluskey, Phil McDougall and Wesley Lewing. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you in a week's time. Good night.
Thank thank you for tuning in. Until next time, that's all from us here at NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.